I'm always not coming on at the right times. How you guys doing? I thought I'd start my feed today and make some white coffee. Show you guys how to make the coffee. Um, Maybe I should make the white coffee like regular coffee today. See how it tastes. But if you grind your white coffee fine, it's still gonna, have a little bit more bitterness than maybe you'd like. So you can try grinding it coarse. It may not be as strong, but it will come out a little bit sweeter, a little bit tastier, maybe more towards how you wanted it. What else we doing here? So happy 4th of July. You could ignore the stuff I put in the chat. I'm a little bit of a ridiculous person, I guess. But if you are curious what I'm talking about, there is a language where the word, it's a language, it's Latinglish, Latin English, and it combines Latin with English. I didn't make it up. They actually speak it. About 300 million people speak it. You wouldn't expect it. Here we go. And their words combine English with Latin. Only I know this. So I'm making. And the word for republic is the Jim Harlots. I thought that was really deep. The Jim Harlots. You met Isaac. Nice. I haven't heard from Isaac in a while. I hope he's well. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys how to make some coffee. We're gonna get a little bit of a slower start today. A solemn ho, pale come. A solemn ho to you too. I'll be right back. Not applicable. A solemn ho to all of you. I think somebody. It looks like somebody slept here last night, so I better not too noisy. A solemn ho to all of you. It's chilly. All right, let's talk. Let's go back to talking about coffee. Whenever I start my days like this, I never sell any coffee. Dark side, good to see you. I think there's someone living in my house right now, so I gotta keep it down. Pretty sure there's someone living in my house. Good morning. You know who I haven't seen in a long time? Be Real B. I think I scared her away. See, the people that I scare away, definitely. All right, guys. So I'm gonna show you guys how to make coffee. Make some of this white. This is my new batch of. No, no. I think one of my employees, because I stayed in town, and I think one of my employees just stayed. We used to have a lot of random people living in our house. All right. This is the latest batch of white coffee. I use a lot, maybe too much. This is too much. This should be enough for a whole pot of coffee. And this is 2 ounces here. This is going to be about 3 ounces because this is the white coffee. And I just use a spice grinder here. Let's put this spice grinder. I'll show you if this was dark roast or a light roast. I'll show you how you're supposed to grind it. A solemn ho. Hail come. We give all of you a solemn ho. Ahoy, aho, ahoy, ahoy, me matey. It's still early for me. I just woke up, so you're gonna hear me rambling, saying random things. Who greets you with a solemn ho, hail come? I put way too much, yeah. That's why I end up wanting to throw up after I drink my coffee, but a solemn ho, a solid ho. That's different, Zombox. A solemn ho to all of you. Hail come. All right, guys. So I'm gonna start by grinding this with to the level that you should grind it if you're making like a light, medium, or dark. And this should be enough for a whole pot of coffee here. About one of these containers should give you a good full pot of coffee. So if you're making your coffee machine drip coffee, and this is a darker, medium, or light roast, you probably want to make this, there you go, somewhat coarse. 2 ounces, 2.5 ounces technically per pot. So one of those bags should make you approximately a pot. And I'm gonna grind mine into a powder because this is the white coffee. I'm all right. Not like awesome. I, with the white coffee, you kind of want to grind it into a powder. And mainly because white coffee is pretty, I think you get more control, more consistency, more repeatability. I think coffee people tend to be very kind of scientifically oriented, so they want to be able to get repeatability and predictability. And if you're one of those, if you want to be able to compare and get a consistent cup of coffee every time, then Burr Grinder, it doesn't have to be Sparty, but if you want the maximum kind of extraction, it's much harder to extract the white coffee than it is dark coffee. So if you want more of the flavor, grinding into a powder is okay because there's also much less bitterness in there. Better heat up my water now. And so we're coming at you direct from the farm out here. That's not a backdrop. It's really what's outside my window. And, you know, Hawaiian coffee is going to be much sweeter and smoother. And if you guys got the white coffee in the last, I would say, week and a half or so, that was that's gonna be labeled our ultra light because we actually had a little bit of a 10-degree discrepancy, and so if you know we're gonna have an ultra light and a white. There's about 10-15 degree difference, but it made a significant difference in the taste. So this is going back to the other one was like 360. My buddy messed it up a little bit. This is going back to the 350. Yeah, bird grinders aren't good for making it into a powder. You like the white, Austin? Yeah, it's good stuff. So you should definitely experiment, right? You should play around with the grinds. That makes a big difference. Maybe sometimes a bigger difference in flavor than even the origin of the coffee. So you do want to spend a lot of time playing around with the grinds. If you find that your coffee just never comes out the way that it smells. It never has that rich, toasty flavor of coffee. Whenever you make your coffee, it ends up tasting, I don't even know how to describe it, but like, first off, just bitter, right? If you find that every time you make your coffee, it comes out bitter, you definitely want to consider grinding your coffee more coarse, much more coarse. If you find that your coffee um, gives you the jitters, even the good stuff, try grinding it more coarse. It'll make a big difference. So I appreciate that. The dark roast, I grind chunky. I don't know if you can see that. Those flakes are chocolate, but kind of see it's like a coarse sea salt, chunky, coarse sea salt. Whereas as you get lighter, you can grind it a little bit finer. But even the light roast, I try to grind a coarse sea salt, and I find that great. So you know what you're doing. I find people have been visiting my farm for years, and I found that if I grind the coffee nice and coarse, people always say that my coffee is the best coffee in all of Kona. But I don't know if that's true. It's up there, but it's not gonna be the best. It's hard to say what's the best coffee, but I think it's because of how I grind the coffee that no matter who comes to the farm, they're always like, "This is the best coffee I've ever had." A big part of it is the grind. So grind your coffee coarse. Definitely, it's like 5:53. Yep, got started. I tried to get started early. I had to go back and hang out with my wife and my little daughter around 11. So yep, there's two coffee cupping contests out here. There's one in November in Kona. So if you guys love coffee, November, late October, early November, you come out to Kona and it's the coffee festival. You can sample, like hundreds of different coffees. They have cupping contest, education. Really, really great, good thing to check out. That is a definitely a big part. The freshness makes a huge difference, right? The freshness of the coffee makes a huge difference. There's also a coffee competition by the Hawaii Coffee Cupping Association or Hawaii Coffee Association, which is all the islands. The first one I mentioned is the Kona Coffee Association, which is just Big Island, right? Then the other one is for the entire state. And that rotates. Sometimes it's in Oahu, sometimes it's in Maui, sometimes it's in Kona. I think Kona is still the biggest coffee growing part of the state. And I hope it continues to expand. I mean, we legitimately have some of the best coffee in the world. And part of that is how we is the climate, right? Big Island has a unique climate. We have an active volcano here. This volcano is just constantly replenishing the soil with micronutrients. So our beans here actually grow larger than beans than from anywhere else in the world. But a larger bean, you know, you got to remember coffee is a fruit that grows on trees. And like any fruit, if you pick it too early, it's going to be sour and bitter. That line used to make me laugh. Any fruit. Oh, I'm a mess, guys. I also have to shave. The shaving thing. I don't used to have to shave. This shaving thing only really happened in the last 4 years. Maybe time just goes by differently. I don't know what it is, but I don't remember ever having grown out. Finally went through puberty. It's hard. All right, so I'll do my first start here. We got a $1 start on these Hawaiian dark 12 ounces. And so going back to what I was saying, we have a unique climate in Hawaii. The beans here grow larger than beans from anywhere else in the world. Hey, El Penguin, Future Corpse, how you doing? Closeouts for less. Thank you for the raid. I'm gonna check out your profile. Coffee guy, thanks for bringing some coffee, people here. Appreciate it. I'll raid you back sometime. I definitely think everyone there's a place for there's a place for our coffee and there's a place for other coffees, definitely. All right, 2 ounce. Thanks for the raid. Appreciate it. And give him a follow as well. If you guys need some, K cups, instant coffees, and there's a place for that, you should definitely check him out. I just, yeah, I don't. I mean, the coffee. So that's the other thing about if you grind the coffee coarse, if you grind your coffee coarse, you can't mess it up. Whereas if you grind it fine, you can mess it up, right? If you grind your coffee coarse, it's almost impossible to mess it up. End up using more grounds, but no matter how you make the coffee, no matter how you pour the water, as long as that water just runs through it and you have enough grounds, it'll come out really sweet and rich. Whereas if you grind it fine, there's like a whole like process to it, and if you don't do it right, it'll come out wrong. You're paying a little bit of premium here too, but not as much, definitely not as much as in the stores, and you're not even going to find this Hawaiian coffee in the stores. I'm really the only person that has this Hawaiian coffee. There is one other guy doing it, Heiko, and they're a great cafe. um Dean, awesome, appreciate it. Yeah, I'll run some Konas for you. I don't know if you have a specific item you want, let me know and I'll run it at a small discount. I'm getting ready to fly, guys. Getting ready to fly. What are you guys doing today? Crystal, how you doing? What are you guys doing for the 4th today? Any plans? So the dark coffee here, so all of our coffee is going to be way sweeter and smoother with almost no bitterness and no sourness to it, right? And that's because of the climate, but also flying like drinking my white coffee. I'm flying up to Never Never Land. You got the order. All right. Let me know if you guys are missing anything. My employees are still, I don't know. Usually they'll circle the thing they're missing, but then they've been sending it, so I gotta let them know to at least let me know. Yep. And this coffee's guaranteed not to hurt your stomach. And the reason that happens, awesome. I'm glad you got it. The reason why our coffee won't hurt your stomach, one of the reasons is that active volcano. When the coffee it reaches its full genetic potential, Tuts Gold, how you doing? When coffee has its full nutrient needs, it'll reach its full genetic potential and it's not producing toxins to repel bugs and things like that because it knows if that coffee fruit falls off the tree, it's got everything it needs to germinate. You're out. You're out of coffee. Oh no. That's the worst. Red, white, and blue. 47. I thought you were 420. You're a different one? Or you changed the number at the end? Same. All right, change the number. And so our coffee doesn't have any sourness, doesn't have any bitterness in it because of how we pick it. And so we can guarantee you that this coffee and this dark roast is guaranteed not to give you any acid reflux or indigestion, or I will give you 100% of your money back. And the reason for the lack of acid reflux and indigestion is because of how we pick it. So we don't think of coffee like it's a fruit, right? But it is a fruit that grows on trees, and like any fruit, if you pick it too early, it's going to be sour and bitter. No matter how large you got that fruit to grow, No matter how great your climate was, how great the nutrition was, it's going to come out sour and bitter. And that's why coffee is, that's why most of the coffee you guys are drinking is sour and bitter. Most of the coffee you guys are drinking either picked with the machine or picked by people who are getting paid $1 per 100 pounds of coffee, a ridiculously low amount of money to be getting paid to pick coffee. When you're getting paid that little, and that's $1 per 10,000 coffee fruits, when you're getting paid that little, you're not going to take your time, right? You can't. You're making $2 a day. And no matter where you live, $2 a day sucks, especially these days. So if you grind your coffee coarse, you can see I'm making my coffee there. If you grind your coffee coarse, you just pour it, doesn't matter. If you grind your coffee fine, you're going to have more problems. So I'm going to show you this in a sec when it pours out. So we pick the coffee by hand. We wait for the coffee to become soft and overripe before taking it off the trees. We're waiting 4 to 6 weeks longer than coffee picked in most other regions of the world. We wait for the coffee to ripen on the tree until it's ready to fall off. If you look at my YouTube, you can see it. Like, just the perfect coffee is just, it looks like a drop of molasses, or a drop of, like, a big drop of molasses. That's the ideal. And when you touch it, it just falls right into your picking basket. We wear these picking baskets around our waist, and when you touch that, it just falls right into that picking basket, and it's just this, the the smell of the coffee is just so sweet. It's starting to ferment by the time it's fallen off. So it's not dried, but it'll go from purple, it'll sit on the tree for 4 or 6 weeks longer. When it first turns red, it'll look like a pink, like a Fuji apple. And then as you let it sit for longer, it gets um, it starts to turn maroon, then purple, then brown, and then it swells up brown like a banana. And that's where the sugar is coming from. Same sugar as you get in a banana. All right, I think that's gonna be it for my $1, guys. I'm gonna do some lights. Also just roasted yesterday. And that's where all the coffee's coming from. It's just all of the sugar is getting into, ripening on the tree. All the enzymes converting the starches and the fibers into more sugar, getting rid of the bitterness, getting rid of the sourness, and that's where your your sugars. That's where our coffee. That's just where the sweetness of our coffee comes from. It's from just that. The light coffee is actually going to be doubly caffeinated than the dark. So the least caffeinated of our coffees would be the extra dark, and we don't have decaf coffee, Gemma. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, we're too small. Most of the farms out here are most of the farms out here are 6-acre farms. Oh, hey, Sandy, sorry to wake you up. Most of the farms out here are small 6-acre farms. They are. I knew there was someone here. I knew it. That was my last light. That sucks. Yeah, now I gotta restock it. So most of the farms out here are small 6-acre farms. They're family farms. They're so small because I'm gonna just have to do a temporary listing. They're so small because someone about 100 years ago decided that the farms here, or that 6 acres was the ideal size for a coffee farm. That 6 acres was large enough that you could produce enough coffee to to support your family, but not so large that you couldn't do it by yourself if you had no labor. And that's approximately true. I mean, you can do it by yourself. It's a struggle, but you can do it by yourself. And And so that's why the farm's so small. But what was I saying? Picked by hand. We never spray the coffee with any chemical pesticides. We're only using naturally occurring soil funguses and soil bacteria. When the farms are so small, you can keep track of every tree. Most coffee farms are like, 1,000 acres, whereas our coffee farm, 6 acre farms on this hill alone, small little hill where we get our coffee from, there's about 25 different coffee farms. So that's what keeps the coffee high quality. The smallness. Sometimes small things can be bad, but because it's such an established coffee farming community, your neighbors, and I used to think this was crazy because living in New York City and especially New Jersey, you never talk to your neighbors. But then I moved out here, and like your neighbors are in your business in a good way. So I was picking my coffee like other regions, going out every day, picking, the Fuji apple colors, picking the red oranges, and you go on YouTube and you'll see, they pick. It looks like you pick red oranges, right? And my neighbors roll by in their picking baskets. They look inside and they'd yell at me when they're driving by, and they'd be like, just like that guy Jake, like, hey, I love Jake. He's a great guy. Be like, hey, what are you doing with your coffee? Like, why are you picking it so early? You're ruining the Kona coffee. You gotta wait. You gotta wait for the coffee to come ready to fall off the trees. And that's the real secret, is just that waiting. I don't see other coffee. Like our entire trees, Reaper Nova. I'm originally from New Jersey, yep. If you grind your coffee coarse, it's gonna come out the way that it smells. A lot of it just the solubility of the different compounds in coffee changes or has their different solubilities. And so New Jersey, which part of New Jersey primary? Z-Man. Hope you got your coffee. Mac nuts. I can run some Mac nuts. Dean. Not sure exactly what you're saying. All right. Yeah. Sorry it took a little bit longer to scan. I know we had a little exchange there. Sicklerville, down middle Jersey. I'm northern Jersey. Jersey has three sections, right? Northern, middle, and southern. And we don't really talk to each other. All right. Let's see some magnets for you. So while you guys, I don't want to make you guys wait. So I got new Mac nuts here, 14 ounce, $22. Is the funny thing about Mac nuts is these days in Hawaii, people are actually importing. So unless it says 100% Hawaiian Mac nuts, it's not Hawaiian Mac nuts. Even in Hawaii, they're actually importing the Mac nuts from Australia and Kenya because Hawaiian Mac nuts are too expensive. So unless it says 100% Hawaiian Mac nuts, it's actually not from Hawaii, which is a little bit tricky. These are also raw Mac nuts. I think a V60. I think it's a number 2 filter. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's a number 2 V60. Yeah, our Iron Sword notes great. All right. Let's see. We had those Mac nuts. Now we also do chocolate. We do Mac nuts, turmeric, and ginger. I'm gonna have a little bit of Hawaiian honey. I don't know how that's gonna work out in terms of shipping, but we'll see. I do have some natural coffee coming. That could be a little bit different. That'll be a little bit different. There's two ways of processing your coffee, and the processing of coffee also changes the flavors quite a bit, right? Um, I might have some more Couture too. I'm gonna have to check my stock on that. I'll go downstairs in a sec and check it. Let's see, what are we doing? If you guys want some dark samplers, and so going back, why our coffee is so sweet, it's because of how we pick it. 12-ounce Konas. Yep, let me do that. Why don't I run a 12-ounce Kona, 6-ounce Kona? So you want the extra fancy, you want the good stuff. I guess I don't have it in my store. So I have one. This is an extra fancy here, 6-ounce medium extra fancy. Hey Tabitha. So if you want this medium extra fancy, this is the highest grade of coffee that we have. These are the massive beans, right? This is the butter. And the medium is the one that the professional coffee cupper said was the one you should try for your espresso. It's just such a huge bean, such a dense bean that you just get this fruitiness out of it. Say this it's ridiculous. This is the extra fancy bean that you just bought, Dean, and this one is is a regular bean that you might get from the store. So these extra fancy beans are the ones you want to use if you don't care, you just want the best coffee you can possibly get, and you want the biggest beans you can possibly get. You want a buttery flavor to it. You want a buttery smoothness with sort of a little bit you get some fruitiness, but without the typical sourness of the lighter roast. Happy 4th of July, guys. Hope you guys have good plans out there. Fireworks, barbecues. I can't eat, ribs. Oh, I can't eat ribs anymore. Pork ribs. I can eat them, and then I always get indigestion and all sorts of problems from, 'em, and then I like pass out. Yeah, I'm allergic to pork. It's unfortunate. Except bacon. I can always make room for bacon. Yeah, but every other pork, I can't eat it without having problems. I mean, even bacon, but bacon's worth it. I guess bacon's so. No, never got that. Not none of that. But I think it's just I ate so much pork as a kid that probably it just, you know, I miss it though. Pork is so good. It's so sweet. It's like candy. So good. I don't know. But can't eat pork. Freedom is personal. Freedom isn't free. Remember that song? Or that movie, Team America World Police? I'm Ronry, so Ronry. All right, guys. My coffee's ready. So you guys ready for me to start losing it? You guys want to see the white coffee? I also have some. I don't know if I have the extra fancy in the dark. Let me see if I have that for you, Dean. Otherwise, the medium should hold you over. And the medium is. I really like the medium roasts, especially on the extra fancy. When you have a medium extra fancy like that, the medium roast just is so good. Like it's buttery Nutella, brown sugar, a little bit of caramel. It's got like raisins. It's just this very sweet. It tastes like a raisinette to me with a little bit of nuttiness. So it's I would say the medium extra fancy for me is the best tasting next to the Katura medium. But I drink the white and the light because I'm doing it for the buzz now. I'm hooked. I'm like for me, if I don't drink it, my muscles hurt. Yeah, I'm hooked. So I need to drink the white. Here's a 8-ounce bag of the white if you guys are interested in it. And this is back to as light as it was. Last batch was a little bit darker, so you didn't get as much of that corn tea, and it tasted a little bit more like coffee. Still pretty strong, but not quite as strong as this one. This one's the back to the beanie peanut buttery white. And if you wanted the last white, that's now the ultralight. And I don't have that listed yet. We'll get that up there. But our white coffee, the dark Katura is the Katura. I think I have a little bit of that left in the Hawaiian grade, but the Katora is just on another level. It's so good. And that Katora was a semi-finalist in the Kona Cupping Contest last year. Our coffee many years ago was number 3 in the Kona Cupping Contest. Um, but that was many years ago. Drinking Kona, awesome. All right, what are we doing next? So, I still didn't even finish my spiel. All of our coffee here, grown in Kona, even the Hawaiian, even the off grade, it's all Kona coffee. Kona coffee starts out in this form, parchment. And so every grade of coffee you see here, except the Katora, every grade from Peaberry to Hawaiian to off grade to um, to the extra fancy, all starts out in here. And coffee has a shell on it, and we don't shell the coffee until about a month before we need it. Whereas coffee from other regions of the world, they're gonna shell it a year before you, up to a year or more before you roast it. No acid reflux. Yep, no acid reflux, no indigestion. Here comes my white, so we're gonna see what happens. Hopefully, I don't start ranting. We gotta keep today happy. You guys don't need to hear my rant. Let me just pre-program myself. You guys don't want to hear my rants. You don't want to hear it. You roast your own coffee. We have some green beans. We do have some green beans. Even though it says it's prime, the green beans today, if you bought them, are 18 screen green bean, which is fancy grade. So we do have green beans if you want them. And the green beans that we have are expensive, but they're nice. I only sell the higher grade green beans because I don't want you seeing our shitty beans. But all these coffees, yeah, this is the white now. Actually, pretty close to my last batch, so not much of a difference. Pretty close, a little bit, maybe 10 degrees lighter. And so no acid reflux, right, Aaron? No indigestion. You don't get Hershey shits. Maybe a little bit here and there. If you drink 8 cups, you're still probably gonna get the Hershey shits. Brown water, exactly right. Shouldn't give you the brown water. You drink a pot. That's not too bad, right? That's four 8-ounce cups. Hershey squirts. And the reason why our coffee doesn't give you those is just how ripe it is, number one. When it's just like if you ate an overripe banana, you got a strong digestive system. Or maybe you roast your own coffee, Earl. That's probably why. So you're able to get fresh beans. You don't have coffee that's sitting on the shelf for weeks. You're not drinking off grade beans because the coffee you buy to roast, that's always the best coffee. Whereas the coffee you're buying from, I don't want to name names, but the big discount bags you buy could be old. The best buy date on the coffee, if it says September 2026, that means it was roasted September 2025. And coffee's got all sorts of microorganisms in it. It's fermented, and even after you roast it, some of those fungus and bacteria, they form spores when you roast it, even up to, no matter how, until you burn it to an ash. And so you let it sit for long enough, even if you have one spore in there, it's gonna germinate, right? So that's probably why you're drinking the good stuff. So if you get really advanced in your coffee journey, you should be roasting you should buy a little 1 pound roaster and just roast it yourself. And then you're gonna be getting full control. You can play with the roast levels and all that stuff. So that's sort of next level. I was thinking about bringing in some home roasters, but I just haven't been able to find a good supply of that. So, all right. So those are our Hawaiians. And there's more of these lights. The light roast is only roasts about 400 degrees. It tastes like a milk chocolate covered raisin. It's probably 2 times stronger than your dark in terms of caffeine and buzz. So light with white, yummy. You're gonna be zooming. Yep. Even our light's gonna get you zooming. Our light roast is far lighter than your typical, blonde roast, and but it's sweet. Most light roasts are very, very sour. You go to Starbucks, you get those single origin, Ethiopian or whatever it is. Usually Ethiopian's the kind of the high. 3 kids under 6. Then you need the Zoom. I didn't start drinking coffee until we had our first kid. I love having kid. I love having a little daughter though. 3 kids, I bet, is hard. I don't know how you would do it. But having one is awesome. I don't know how great having three is. I'm sure it's got its charms as well. I bet it's hard. Yeah. Then you don't have time to do anything. I already don't have time to do anything, but I'm sure it's even worse. So they really are interesting, right? Yeah. Yesterday, my daughter, she says something different every day. We walked by the bathroom, and I was like, "You want to go, to the women's bathroom?" She's like, "I'm not a woman, but I'm about to become one." You have 7 kids. Oh my god, that must be crazy. But I guess the older kids take care of the younger ones, right? No, they don't. All right, I'm wrong about that too. Yep, yep. You need some coffee then. No, definitely need some coffee. When I was younger, people would say to me like, your life doesn't start until you have kids, and I get mad about that. Like, fuck you. But then you have a kid, and yeah, like that's probably true. Course or grind. Yep. Course or grind, or your life doesn't end until you have a kid. Then your life's over. More course, um, something along the lines of this. I don't know if it's not very helpful, but do you see that coarseness? Almost like a coarse sea salt. Yeah, this there's a little. I mixed it in with other coffee, so it's hard to see. But that ground in there, that's the way you want it. The chunkier, start out with the chunkiest setting that you can tolerate, and then head your way down. And when you grind it chunky, you're gonna get, if it's really chunky, the coffee's gonna taste like a whiskey cask, like almost like a brown sugar molasses, almost even a little bit of like just like a rum or a whiskey. It's got that flavor to it. Then 2 ounces will make you 4 cups, 4 8-ounce cups. For a lot of people, they've been telling me they get 8 cups. It depends on the strength, but officially, and I usually give you 2.5 ounces or more, but officially, the minimum amount will make you 4 8-ounce cups of good strong coffee. Some people you might get eight to 10 cups and or 8 4-ounce cups, but I think a typical big pot of coffee is 64 ounces, and I like my coffee strong, so I'm only going to promise you 4 8-ounce cups. That's that's what I can promise you. You might get more, but yeah, you gave me the thumbs up. You guys don't know about my thing with thumbs up, right? People give me whenever I get a thumbs up, I start to get paranoid because I think you're going like this. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, thumbs up gets me. Thumbs up messes me up. Yeah, I get confused. There you go. Thumbs down. At least I know. This. There's no. There's no way. But this. Anytime I see a thumbs up, this is the light coffee. The best light coffee you're gonna ever have. Light coffee is usually too sour to drink. Too sour to drink. It usually this light coffee barely has any acidity, and all of our coffee is low acid because of how we pick it. When you let a strawberry get soft, right before it's about to rot, that's when all the sugars come out. That's when all this bitterness is gone, all the sourness is gone. In fact, Strawberries remind me a lot of coffee. Like you buy those strawberries in the stores these days, big fat strawberries, but they're, still kind of hard, just has the white on top of them. And you eat those, you eat two of those, and now your mouth hurts or your teeth feel weak. I don't know if that happens to you guys. You gotta buy them from the Amish, exactly. And this is kind of like buying coffee from the Amish. Literally, we don't use mowers. It's hand picked. We cut the grass with weed whackers, so we do have a motor. It's not like we're using reapers, but we don't have mowers. It's just so much work. It's a ridiculous amount of work. Imagine weed whacking 6 acres in the tropics where the grass grows like crazy. That's the biggest part of this job. It's just keeping the weeds down, keeping from choking out the coffee. So we don't spray it with any chemical pesticides. Some people, there are few people using goats, but not really, because goats also like to eat the coffee. So people who have goats, their trees are like stringy because the goats eat all the leaves. But that is one solution people have thought of. It's not a great one. Um, but you keep the weeds down, but you also lose your coffee. You guys have goats? We got a lot of wild goats out in Hawaii. So let me give me a sec. I'm gonna go downstairs and check if I have Katora. Give me one second. I go look. I'll be right back, guys. I'll run. Interesting. I heard like if cows eat mesquite, the 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 meat becomes poison or something like that, right? All right, I'm gonna run one of these. I don't have the medium estates. Darn it. I'm gonna run this 8 ounce estate coffee. How am I gonna have that? Darn it. I want to put an auction while I'm downstairs so that you guys can bid on something. So how about this? Another bag of the extra fancy dark, biggest beans that we have. Highest grade coffee that we have. Usually $90 a pound. This is 6 ounces. Here we go. I'll be right back, guys. I'm back. I'm back. $22. That's not bad. Guinea pigs. That's interesting. What do you like? Tie up all the guinea pigs and you let them free. Using using animals. Guinea pigs would get killed by the mongoose, though, I think. So, all right. I have 6 dark couturas left and like 10 light couturas. So let me just update that for you guys. So we have 6 more. This is the last 6 dark couturas like left in all of the world. Kona dark couturas. Let me see if I can even. And these are Hawaiian grade. Uh, let's see if I find it. Hmm. Let me look for this, guys. Give me a sec. Here we go. All right, I got 6 of these left, and these are the last 6. So what is a yellow Katora? It's something I didn't know what a yellow Katora is. So there are these sub varieties of coffee, like hybrids of the Arabica. Arabica is the only one. Arabica. There's 2 species of coffee that we can drink. There's more than 2, but there's 2 main ones, right? There's Robusta, um, and then there is Arabica. And Arabica is like the good stuff. Arabica will give you more of a buzz than Robusta. Robusta is just pure caffeine, but it's bitter. Whereas Arabicas have caffeine, but they have that other alkaloid that I've been telling you guys about, called trigonylene. But after that, the Arabica bean has all these sub varieties, just like apples, right? Have sub varieties. They have Red Delicious, Golden Delicious, Fuji Apple. All of those are a little bit different, and they have their own unique flavor to it. Coffee's the same way. So we have, oh, I do have the light Katura. All right, I got 12 of the light Katuras left. I've got 6 of these dark Katuras. So the Katura is a sub variety of a sub variety of a sub. It's a yellow Katura. You can look up yellow Katuras online. And a yellow Katura is just, no matter where it grows, people are charging a premium for it. I think it's like less than 1% of the world's coffee. It's a sub variety. It's a denser bean. The fruit doesn't turn red, it turns yellow. And it tends to be denser, it grows a little bit smaller. It's comparable in density to the pea berry. And because of that density, you get more of a range of flavors when you go to roast it. And then it's known to have a honey finish, which it really does, especially in the lighter roast. You can really taste that. It almost tastes like a fermented honey. It's a little bit savory, which isn't the case with most of your coffees, and it's very, very sweet. It's got this kind of like plum fruitiness to it, while our regular coffee is like a raisin. Subtle differences. It's still grown in Kona. It's still an Arabica, so it's considered Kona coffee. To be called Kona coffee, it has to be Arabica. It has to be. I'll run a 1 minute start on this. I only got 6 of these left. You're drinking the white. Nice. Small Cajun movie. That's a good idea. But a lot of work. But that's kind of sounds like kind of fun. I might try that actually. And so we got yellow Katura here, and this is a 12-ounce bag of the dark. We've only 6 of these left in all of the world. So literally, when this is gone, I'm not going to have it till October. So not a huge wait, but a significant wait. Because there was only one farmer growing this in all of Hawaii. He was one of my buddies. He gave me a bunch of his yellow Katura trees. So I'll have some in a few years, but he's the only one who has it. $11, guys. This is a $35 bag, but more than that, this is the last 6 bags left in the whole world. So I'm not gonna have this again. I'm already out of the Kona, and so yeah, this is the last of it. And this was roasted about 6 days ago. Oh, I shouldn't have run it for a minute. So I'll run these last six. This is the Dark Katura, 12-ounce bag, and rarest coffee in the world. It's savory. It's richer than our standard Kona coffee. So if you knew what you were getting, you would definitely be getting this rather than getting a Hawaiian, waiting for my next show. And after this show, there's no more of it. And it is kind of a good deal because it is a Katura, but it's in the Hawaiian grade, so you don't have to pay the 90, $100 a pound for it. It's the Hawaiian grade coffee. So it's just slightly smaller beans. Most people can't tell the difference between Hawaiian and Kona coffee. There's a subtle difference. Kona tends to be a little bit nuttier just because the beans are denser, but they're all coming off the same trees. They're all, in parchment form together right before we roast it. And this is the last 6 bags. I think we're down to 4 bags now. And then I also have 10 bags of the light roast. But the dark roast is the richest of all the coffees in terms of the body is going to be very, very strong. Just a strong bodied, rich coffee. It's savory. It's going to be just a thicker, because the bean is dense. The bean is denser, so there's kind of more beans per unit bean in a way. I don't know. So the grounds are denser. You can use less grounds. And unlike the pea berry, I guess no, because it's still by weight. So, but it is a denser bean. 14 bags of pea berry on it. Someone got 2 pounds of pea berry yesterday for like, I don't remember. I don't even want to think about it. But I'm not gonna do that again. That was you, Aaron. I don't even want to think about it. I blocked it out. I blocked it out. That sounds like a darker roast. I really don't know. But you know, all of our coffee is gonna have the same flavor profile, which is it's a dessert coffee. It's sweet. There's no bitterness, no sourness. Yeah, let me do that next. Very, very sweet coffee. Um, that's really what comes down to. Dark roast, dark chocolate caramel, toasted caramel with some cacao, with no bitterness whatsoever, no aftertaste. So if you get coffee breath, this does not give you coffee breath. It even feels like you drank a tea. So, but yeah, Earl Davis, I think it comes down to the roast that you normally get because all of our coffee is the same. We only sell Kona coffee. So the flavor profile is the same across all of them. It's just subtle differences. Ah, I forgot, Aaron. I'm telling you, I'm a mess. My fingers don't listen to my brain. Next one. I'm a mess, guys. Uh, I give away almost 3 pounds of coffee every show. Mac the Knife, how you doing? I don't drink alcohol. I don't. I wish I did, but I don't because I'm allergic. I got that Asian blood. So I have even like a shot of beer and I turn red. I get itchy. So I wish I did though. It really limits my social life. But then, obviously, it's probably surfing the cosmos. You're still mad at me. I know it. Still mad at me. All right. You're allergic to alcohol. The cuffs. All right. We got 2 more of these dark Katuras left. I'm going to drop it to 20 seconds. Got two more of these left, and that's it, guys. Last two bags of the Dark Katura until October. So this is a collector's item in a way. 7 years. That's good. Alcohol makes me turn red, so I don't. I have trouble with alcohol, and I get really cranky the next day. So it's that Asian blood. Doesn't. It's not fair, but maybe it's better that way. So one less thing I can be addicted to. All right, last dark roast here, and then I got 10 bags of the light Katura, and then that's it for the Katura. There's no more. You're mentally allergic to alcohol. The white coffee, though, a little bit like alcohol. It kind of lowers your inhibitions. It makes me chatty. Makes me want to talk to people. Makes me want to go hang out. So white coffee. Coffee is strong. I think maybe somewhere along the line, someone realized how strong it was. Maybe during the religious times, people are like, "Well, this coffee's really good, but it's too strong when it's white. So we need to roast it dark." If you guys are just joining me, my name is Ed. I'm coming to you live from Rooster Farms on the Big Island of Hawaii. Uh, there's Kekua Bay right there. You guys are staring at the coffee farm, coffee deck. This is all manually picked, hand-picked coffee on small 6-acre farms. This coffee was never sprayed with any chemical pesticides. We're only using naturally occurring soil funguses, soil bacteria, and for that reason, you're going to notice no jitters. And sometimes I drink coffee and the lines, I don't know if this happens to you guys, but the straight lines start to jiggle like this. That's not the coffee. Those are pesticides or maybe mold. So if that happens when you drink your coffee, you might want to switch brands. All right, what are we doing next? Let's do the light Katura. We got 10 of these left, and then that's it for the whole year, right? So if you guys don't know what a Katura coffee is, and most people don't, because I didn't know. I know what you guys know because I know because I didn't know anything, and I still don't know that much. But Katura is a sub variety, a sub cultivar of of the Arabica. So it is an Arabica. It's more savory, it's sweeter, it's denser. So it is I got 12 of these actually. So I better just make it 10 because I counted 10. I'm not even really that good at counting. I don't know. I think I had a stroke. I have trouble counting. You guys ever have trouble counting? I think maybe I'm just lazy. My wife says there's no such thing as lazy. I don't know what that means. All right. Thank you for the raid, Coffee Vault. I'll raid you guys back. I appreciate you guys raiding us. You can make a tea, or a lot of people will peel it and then throw it into your blender with your smoothie, whatever it is, and that'll give you a nice anti-inflammatory feeling to it. So this is our light Katura 12-ounce bag. This is the last 10 bags that we have. Last 10 bags in the whole world. And the light Katura is where you really taste the unique flavors of the coffee. You can also make a tea by just cutting it into little thin strips and then put it in hot water. And that works really well too. So this is the last 10 bags of Katura coffee left in the whole world. It is the rarest coffee. And if you guys, it's the rarest coffee. You can taste this fermented honey finish to it, which is really unique. And then it's kind of savory, almost like a grape tomato or an onion. So it's like I tell people, if our Kona coffee is like a like a croissant, our our Katura coffee is like a one of those Japanese croissants, where they throw like ham and onions on it. It's super weird. or pineapple pizza. You know, if our Kona coffee is like a regular cheese pizza, this is like a pineapple ham pizza. It's just got all sorts of weird stuff. It's very different than our standard Kona coffee. And there's only I might not run all of the lights. I might save some, but this is the last of it. I won't have it again until October because there's only one farmer growing this in all of Kona. So, uh, Sparty EPK. So if you knew what you were getting here, you guys would be fighting for these last 8 bags. But I think most of us just have no idea. So a lot of us think coffee is coffee. I've heard that a lot too, and I get that. Like, how different can coffee be? Well, it's the difference between a green banana and a brown banana. I think that's the easiest way to describe it. Even just that ripeness difference makes a huge difference. Green bananas leave this bitter aftertaste in your mouth. A brown banana, you can, it's like cream, and you don't have, yeah. So uh, the light coffees also give you. That's a good point. The light coffees also give you a very strong buzz. It's loaded with antioxidants. When I drink the light coffee, I get this thing where I can like stretch almost like I ate a Percocet. Ah, feels nice. And it's like itchy on the inside, where it used to be painful, it's itchy. That's what happens when I drink the white coffee and the light coffee. And we'll get to that. And here's the last few ones of my Hawaiian Light. Hawaiian Light Katora. It's not just Hawaiian, it's the Light Katora. And again, this one, so there's only one farmer. I think this whole year I only had 400 pounds of it. And this is the last 5 pounds that I have. After this, it's gone. Bougiest coffee in the world. You can be like, oh, if you got a coffee snob in your family, you'd be like, oh, this is Katura coffee from Kona. Probably, and they're gonna be like, wow, pinky up. I think so. I think so. I don't even know if I can do that here. All right. So this one is my favorite. Like the light Katura, just so sweet, savory, complex, fermented honey, completely different. Really, that fermented honey was what really got me. Like it tastes like a mead. Like you ever have a mead where like it's honey with that little bit of tanginess, but then it's fermented. I don't know. It's very different, and it's it really comes out at you. You can make your coffee however you like, and you add, you get the flavors. So mixing the different roast levels, you make your coffee more complex, I think. Well, I do find that when I mix the white with a higher roast level, something happens where I don't get as high, and so I've just been drinking the pure white because I'm just hooked. I'm doing it for the buzz. I'm not even doing it for the flavor. But if you guys are doing it for the flavor, dark roast, I think, has the most flavor. As you roast your coffee darker, mm, as you roast your coffee darker, it gets more of the compounds become water soluble. I don't add anything to my coffee ever. I just drink it black. But they say if you like adding stuff to your coffee, dark roast is the way to go. The dark, the compounds in the dark will combine better with your cream and or your milk and your sugar, and it brings out more of that flavor. Right now I'm drinking ginger tea. I've just finished my coffee. This is my white coffee here. I'm drinking ginger tea now. Maybe I'll finish this. I'm starting to get ADD because I'm just You can see it in my eyes. All right, RG Sniper. So how many of these I got left? Let's see. Number 7. So I got 3 of these left. Can't even swallow that. Second cup of the extra fancy white. The white coffee is strong. It makes you feel good, I think. But then you're gonna get, now you're hooked. Because it's also so strong that it's so strong that you can build a tolerance pretty quickly to it. And definitely like these days when I don't drink a white coffee, it's not doing the same thing that it used to. When I first started it 3 months ago, I lost my TikTok, I lost my LinkedIn. It was just making me talk and post way too much, and they actually kicked me off of both platforms. So be careful. All right, last few bags of these guys, and I'll move on to our white coffee. But the light coffee will be twice as strong as your dark roast in terms of the buzz that it gives you. Most light coffees are too sour to drink, but the light coffee, twice as strong in the buzz. There's this other compound, another alkaloid in coffee called trigonylene. And when you roast trigonylene to 250 degrees, it becomes something called methylamine, which is the meth part of methamphetamine. It's not methamphetamine, but it is the precursor. And that's in your no one wants to buy it now. And it does make your music. So if you put on your headphones after you drink this coffee, you do feel like the music, you're immersed in that music. No, and it is a mild hallucinogen. So by the time you get to a dark roast, the vast majority of that is gone. No one wants to buy it now. All right, no more light coffee for you guys. $20 is too low. So I'll save my last few bags of that for another show. I only got one bag left. Let's just run it. I only got one bag left. It's the Breaking Bad coffee. That's right. And so you're just pumping. And the light coffee, that buzz only lasts about 30 minutes, whereas the white coffee, that buzz goes on and on and on for like 3, 4 hours. Just hours will fly by when you drink the white coffee. Light coffee, 30 minutes, and you're back to normal. Breaking good. Whereas the white coffee, it goes on for hours. You can kind of see it in my eyes already. I'm staring at that tree over there, and you see my eyes getting bigger. That's the white coffee. Staring at that tree, you see the leaves kind of going like this, and you're like, oh wow, that's so interesting. Yeah, that's the white coffee. And that's the white coffee. So I'll run some white coffee now. We do have the white coffee in 2 grades today. We have it in Hawaiian, which is the smaller beans, the less dense beans. It's a little bit less smooth than extra fancy, but half the price. So I don't know if it's that bad. Have you had the white coffee at Soulfly? I don't know if it's I was talking about the white coffee and someone bought it, and then they were like, this white coffee doesn't even work, and they got really mad. So before I was selling it even more, telling it it's gonna fuck you up and get you high, and they're like, you sell it like that, and it doesn't even work. So it's not gonna replace your meth. $14, and this is a $35 bag. It's not gonna replace your meth. It's not a hard drug. It's still coffee. It's like you drank 10 cups of coffee in 1 cup. I think that's what it really comes down to. So it's not anything that's going to be unfamiliar, nothing to be scared of. It's just, at worst, it's like you drank too much coffee. Yeah. But you don't want to sell coffee as hard drugs, because then like meth heads will buy it, and then there would maybe they spent their meth money on the coffee, and like now they're pissed. Now they want that money back because they needed to buy that meth. You shouldn't. You don't want to take money from meth heads. Definitely don't want to take money from meth heads. They need that money more than you. You do feel a little bit warm fuzzies. You guys saw me yesterday. I fell over on my chair, so it will make you a little bit, but it's just like you drank 10 cups of coffee in one sitting. I think maybe that's a fair way to do it, to talk about it. How about I give away some white coffee? Why don't we do some of these? I haven't given away any white coffee yet. A lot of you guys have been watching my show for a while now, so I'm sure you guys have all tried the dark already. Maybe a few people haven't. So why don't we start giving away something a little bit different? Here's a 2 ounce white coffee here. You guys enter that. They definitely do that. Yep. The worst is when you get a meth head wandering into my farm. I had that 3 or 4 times happen where a meth head just was just down, and I don't have walls or doors on my farm, so I'll like turn a corner. Oh, there's a meth head. It scares the shit out of me. I had one time there's this meth head just like hanging out downstairs, and I walked downstairs. I thought it was a chicken. It was a meth head, and I was like, oh shit. I got the chills from that. I was like, oh shit, there's a meth head here. I didn't expect that. And then you got to give them a ride down to the beach. You got it's tense. You don't want to. They didn't even try to fight me. They just wanted to talk. I don't know. Meth heads always just want to talk to me. They told me about how they got. Here I go again. They were telling me how their family stole all their money and they sent them out to Hawaii, and their friends ditched them, took the car. They can't get a ticket home. Yeah, it's just like all this stuff. It's always They're always the victim. Always the victim. They're like me. I'm a meth head at heart. All right, one more of these. 18 bucks was too low. So after this, I'm gonna run something else. This will make you clean the house. This will make hours fly by. You drink a cup of this. Put 2 ounces of beans for 1 cup of coffee. I do use 2 ounces of beans for one cup of coffee. So yep. Once you start blaming other people, that's when things start going down. That's when things start falling apart, when you start blaming. So whatever happened, if you're just like, it was my fault, I must have done something, that's not a good way to think either. I don't know. But once you start blaming other people, you blame your kids. That's funny. All right. Once you start blaming other people, that's when your life starts to fall apart. All right, guys. I got some of this OG, extra dark OG. This is see, see, that's all your fault, guys. Why'd you make me do that? Why'd you make me? Why'd you make me do that? Why? Every time I drink the white coffee, I just don't want to even sell coffee anymore. All I want to do is just talk. I don't know if that's a good thing either. Ah, build the beans. What are we doing now? I don't think so. I don't think homeless people. I heard definitely. I've heard that before, but I think Hawaii likes having homeless people because we get subsidies based on the population. So I don't know, but I drank too much coffee, guys. I did. I drank too much coffee. I'm starting to feel like this. I drank too much coffee, guys. So this is the OG. Drank too much coffee, guys. This is the OG beans right here. OG is our lowest grade. It's called, technically it stands for off grade, which is just so off putting that I don't even want to sell it. But Sandon convinced me to try, and actually these beans are really good this time. I can't guarantee it's going to be good every time, but this time, these beans are, you know, I when I think of OG, I think all the beans should look like this. You see how ugly this doesn't even look like a coffee bean. That's why it's supposed to be OG, but for some reason, this batch, most of the beans look like this. This is the Sandon Special Roast. Yep. So, so this coffee is supposed to be only nasty beans like this, and sometimes it even comes moldy. But this time, it was actually really good. So, if you guys want, a coffee that's, I can't even hold the beans. A coffee that is almost as good as the Hawaiian and even the Kona. This is still grown in Kona. And you like the oils on your coffee. I don't usually do it extra dark, so this is an extra dark oily bean. So if you like that oily Starbucks roast, but without the bitterness, without this the acid, the indigestion, this OG is definitely worth it. J Rev, I feel like I haven't seen you in a long time. I always like, going. I love seeing sellers. I see you guys on my feed, and then I go on your sellers. I'm like, oh, that's what you guys look like. Like I was on Mac the Knife the other day. I was like, oh, that's Mac the Knife. All right. I gotta use the bathroom. How I am is I just had a big cup of white coffee and I'm starting to I'm starting to shake. So I'm starting to shake. That's how I am. How are you guys? Here, I'll let you guys get some of the extra fancy white coffee now. I'm gonna go use the bathroom, guys. I'll be right back. $3. You got the extra fancy for $3. That's not good. That's not good. I bought some Rooster Farms espresso popcorn. That's kind of like what it is. Yep, the extra dark OG is kind of like an espresso popcorn. It's all right. When you guys win, I win. So if you win and I lose, it's flat. I came out even because I still won. I don't know. All right, extra fancy white. These are the biggest beans that we have in the white roast, and the white coffee is coffee that's roasted so light that it's still raw. A little bit peanut buttery, a little bit beany, corn, almost like corn. It smells like cornflakes when you grind it. Still has a light flavor of coffee to it, and this one will give you a huge buzz. Just gets you going, gets you flying. There's a buyer's giveaway. There you go. You still paid for shipping, so I drank too much coffee, guys. I got a big audience, but I drank too much coffee. I can't sell anything. If you guys are just joining me, my name is Ed. I'm coming to you live from Rooster Farms. We can do some light, medium, 12 ounces. Yep. Coming to you live from Rooster Farms, where we have an active volcano here, and this volcano is just constantly replenishing the soil with micronutrients, replenishing the soil, and that makes our beans the richest, densest beans. Some of the richest, densest beans in the world. We're also the northernmost coffee growing region in the world, so our beans actually grow larger than beans from anywhere else. Biggest beans in the world. Bigger beans, though, doesn't necessarily mean a better cup of coffee. If you pick your coffee too early, it's going to be sour and bitter, just like any other fruit. And that's actually why most of your coffee is so sour and bitter. Most of your coffee, oh, you're not talking about me. Most of your coffee tastes like is sour and bitter because it was either picked with a machine or it was picked by people who are getting paid $1 per 100 pounds of coffee. Just a terrible thing when you're paying people that. They're getting paid about $2 a day. And if you've never picked coffee before, you're not going to have much sympathy for people. But if you have picked coffee, oh my god, it's the worst thing in the world. Picking coffee is probably the worst thing in the world. I get nightmares. I'm like traumatized from picking coffee. I really hate picking coffee. You made the cold brew. Let me know how it tastes. But I hate picking coffee. It's the worst thing in the world. If you've never picked coffee before, it's like the worst thing in the world. Probably similar to that or detasseling corn. It's just so hard. So hard. And but coffee you get one gram per fruit. So it's just the worst thing in the world. And if you're getting paid $1 per 100 pounds of coffee, that's $1 per 10,000 coffee fruits. And that's why here I'll give you a flash sale. 22.75 for 12-ounce bags of the light Hawaiian 12-ounce bags here. The next 5 minutes. So it's the worst thing in the world to pick the coffee by far. I hate picking coffee. So it's easy to want to cut corners. It's easy to try to just grab a bunch because the coffee fruit berries grow in bunches, but they don't ripen at the same time. So you're hitting the same little bunch of fruits. And the way we pick it is why the coffee is so sweet. We pick the coffee by running our hands along the branches, and we only take the coffee that falls off the tut. So we kind of just run our fingers on the branches, and we wear this picking basket around our waist. And anything that falls off to the touch, we collect. Anything that doesn't, we leave on tree for another 3 weeks. Pick for a week, wait for 3 weeks, and we repeat that process until there's no more coffee on the tree. So our coffee, the amount of sugar, I actually don't know that much about cold brew, Robmer. So I think Sandon probably knows better than me. The way we pick our coffee is unique. We do have this climate here where we get our coffee ripens in waves, and so even out of all of Hawaiian coffee, we're getting our coffee is going to be the sweetest. We have the active volcano, which isn't the case on other islands, and then we have this clear wet and dry season in Kona. So Kona coffee, this is all Kona coffee. You guys never heard of Kona coffee before? It's the most expensive coffee in the world, and it's also some of the sweetest, guaranteed not to give you any acid reflux or indigestion. So if you guys have been drinking coffee for a long time and you've been thinking about giving it up, before you do that, you need to try our coffee because um, this coffee will not give you indigestion. People are telling me they can drink like 8 cups of it and they're still good. I don't know if you should be doing that, but you know, it's not going to give you the same kind of stomach issues. A lot of us think of coffee like it's smoking a cigarette. You need the buzz, and you're going to deal with the pain. You're going to deal with the negative effects because you want the buzz. But coffee is actually healthy for you. People who drink coffee actually live longer if they're drinking, good coffee. Bean loving the cop. Oh, I thought you said bean loving the coffee. I think making fun of NASA every day is also making some people upset. I need to just stop making fun of people. Don't make fun of institutions. The guys from NASA forged my signatures. Anyway, not no, actually no, it wasn't. They did something else. They helped cover it up. Those bastards. But just because they're individuals. Anyway, let's not talk about that. All right, 100% Hawaiian coffee. And this is a light medium roast. This one tastes like a chocolate covered raisin. You might be right about that too. What is that song by Ramstein? We're all living in America. America. It's wonderful. I like that song. Wonderbar. I think the Germans are getting mad at me. When I say Germans, I mean all of us, the Germanic people, right? The ones that got left behind by the Romans like 2,000 years ago. We're all Germans by now. Du hast. Du. Du hast. This is the white coffee now. I'm going to start singing songs from the 90s. Death Doors. Thanks for the raid. Death Doors. He sells pop culture stuff. All right, guys. What should we sell next? Let's do some samples. So if you guys want to do, we have different items. I'm going to go to our highest graded coffee now. This is our pea berry, and the pea berry is a deformity that happens at the tips of the trees, where instead of having two beans to a pod or to a fruit, one of the beans takes over the entire fruit, like when a peanut takes over the entire fruit. And so it is a denser bean. It only happens in 1% of our coffee. It's a little bit more complex than the Kona. And if you guys know peaberry, as a first purchased A-Town, you're spoiling yourself. It is the smoothest coffee that we have. It's almost buttery. It's smoother. It's got more fruitiness than the other coffees. It's a little bit stronger and it's about twice as dense. So if you're making your peaberry coffees, you need to measure it based on weight rather than volume. Because if you use a scoop of peaberry, it may come out bitter because you're using twice as much coffee. So definitely, be cautious, be aware of that. The actual grounds are 2 times denser often. Um, it's really good for espresso. Yeah, thanks, Death Doors. Appreciate it. It's probably this and the extra fancy medium are probably the best ones for espressos. If you guys are espressos makers, the professional espresso cuppers have told us medium, extra fancy, medium pea berry, those are the best ones that they've had. The pea berry bean, we have to run 100 pounds of our coffee over these grates, and we have this special pea berry grate. I guess it's a screen that the pea berry falls through. So you go to ABC stores and people are selling the pea berry it's the only place you could buy it retail. And the pea berry retails for $56 for 7 ounces, which, and I don't always have the pea berry. I only have it once in a while because here, I'm gonna run these at a dollar auction because Here's another 2 ounce pea berry because once you run out of pea berry, it takes 2 or 3 months before people have more of it. A lot of individual farmers don't even separate their pea berry out. Let me show you the pea berry. Have you guys ever seen pea berries? Very, very different in terms of what it looks like. Let's see if I have a pea berry here to show you guys. Uh, who is legally what? Oh, like that. You guys are talking about the popcorn. Hmm. So these are the 2 ounce bags here. Usually you're getting more than 2 ounces. 2 ounces is the minimum. I always tell my packers to put in more than 2 ounces. Otherwise, I know you guys weigh it, and if it's like 1.8, I'm gonna hear about it. So it's gonna be like 2.3, 2.4. I know you guys weigh this coffee, so I always put in more, and it's paid off because when you do weigh it, you're like, oh, I got more, and you guys are happy about it. It is, but trust but verify, right? What if I was giving you guys 1.5 ounces consistently? You guys would I'd be ripping you off. So keep me honest. So this is our pea berry here. You make sure it's pea berry. Pea berry, this is what it looks like here. Pea berry. I don't have any show notes today either. Maybe I should not have show notes because it seems like there's more people when I didn't have any show notes. Or maybe it's just July 4th. So this is about 1% of our coffee comes out as pea berry. These are the densest beans that we have. They've done that. They've actually, um, because Kroger's and Costco, they were actually selling coffee, calling it Kona, and it wasn't Kona. You killed me there, Anzuwas. No more. Yeah, this time I had no show notes and I have more people, so I'm gonna try doing the no show notes thing going forward again. I used to never have any show notes. Maybe it like forces you to stay longer to see what the show's about. I'm starting to run out of steam, guys. That white coffee got me going too much. But yeah, so like Costco, Kroger's, this coffee's so good that people, there's a lot of coffee fraud. They knock off this coffee, Kona coffee. And so Kroger's and Costco, they had to pay. They got caught because there's someone developed a test where you can actually test to see if it's Kona coffee. There's unique markers in Kona coffee, and they caught. I think it was Kroger's and Costco. They were forging our coffee, and so they had to pay us. They had to pay us millions of dollars. They did. Yep, we each got like a check for like $20,000 a few years ago because Costco was forging our coffee. Uh, $2, $5. I don't even know if they knew they were doing that. A lot of times, their supplier was doing that, and so they got on the hook for it. So I love Costco. I don't want to talk bad about Costco. For us, all the good food comes from Costco. So I love Costco. I love Costco. Communist coffee. I got to figure out how to sell this coffee to the communists. I had to figure out how to sell. I almost went to North Korea once. I've always wanted to go to North Korea. All right, that was my last medium pea berry. So I'm gonna run through my different samplers and we'll just talk about the different grades. Different grades of coffee. It's the same coffee. It's all coming out. It all starts out in this. This is what we call parchment. So coffee has a shell on it. When you import coffees, the coffee always is shelled. So you guys probably never seen this before, but you've only seen the kernel, the green beans, because you can't export parchment. I don't think it. Sometimes there's bugs in it before you shell it. Sometimes there's fungus in it, and that so the but the parchment stays keeps the coffee fresh. I can plant this parchment's like 3 4 years old. I've kept this bag for 3 4 years now. And normally, if you had green coffee after 3 4 years, it turns yellow. It's not green anymore. But we keep it in the shell. I could plant this and get a new coffee seed. Ah, don't want to spill the beans again. And the bean inside is actually still looks really fresh. So a lot of times you might find Kona coffee at Costco. I found a bag Kona coffee at Costco for $18 for 8 ounces, but I don't know. I've heard a lot of farmers have been keeping their parchment from previous years, so it might be old parchment. But this bean still looks good, right? A lot of times, I mean, you can tell it's a little bit old because it's got that little discoloration there. Do you see that? I don't know if you can see that. So, yeah, that will roast unevenly, and that's because of how old the coffee is. I'm kind of I drank too much coffee, guys. You know when you drink too much coffee, you actually get tired. That's how I'm feeling right now. But we have a dark pea berry. Here's a dark pea berry, 2 ounce sampler, and the dark pea berry, big. They get big. The pea berry expands, and also just richer than our standard Kona. The pea berry happens. Let's see if I can find a pea berry in here. Actually, yeah, I can. So let's take a look at this parchment. Right, this one is a pea berry, right here. So it's like maybe one out of every 50 beans is pea berry, and then the pea berries have to be perfect to be called Kona pea berry. Not perfect, like one in 10 beans can be a little bit off. I just decided to do some white givvies because I've never done it before, and I feel like a lot of you guys probably have had the dark and the medium and the light, and you haven't tried the white yet. So I figured I'd give something different. Yeah, it wasn't for the holiday in particular. Independence Day. Oh, dark pea berry takes 100 pounds of our coffee to make 1 pound of the dark pea berry. It's going to be smoother, almost buttery, and that's because the bean is denser. There's more oils. It's basically one bean that takes over the entire fruit and just takes in all of the nutrition. It happens at the tips of the trees where maybe not quite enough nutrition reach that bean. Sometimes it happens in the pods too, but so instead of having two beans in a fruit, one of the beans takes over. It becomes very, very dense, and it's sort of like what happens sometimes in a marriage. Oh, freaking mosquitoes here too. Crazy amounts of mosquitoes. So no bitterness, guaranteed not to give you any acid reflux or indigestion. Or we'll give you 100% of your money back. The Pea Bear is our highest graded coffee here. Um, densest beans. They charge you $56 for 7 ounces if you tried to buy this, as a tourist when you came to Hawaii. And there's only one store that carries it. You're not going to even find this retail. $1 Deltron. Denser bean. The dark roast can be extremely rich, but no bitterness, no sourness. Tastes like a toasted caramel with cacao. $2. Okay, we're low on demand right now then. Mm, You don't really the dark no, the pea berries don't get as big as the extra fancy beans. Just never that big, but pretty big for pea berries sometimes because pea berries tend to be smaller, but you can get some really big pea berries compared to pea berries from other regions. They're Kona pea berries, so they do have to be above 16 screen. All right, that's it for my pea berries. Let's see what else we got here. So if you guys just joining us, Hawaiian grade is our kind of our the base grade of coffee that you could drink every day. This coffee, the Hawaiian coffee is this one here. Really nice beans anyway. We roast our coffee a little bit lighter. So even our dark roast is a little bit lighter than what you expect, maybe more like a medium dark from Starbucks. It is a toasted caramel dark chocolate with no bitterness and no sourness whatsoever. And our coffee is not bitter and sour because mainly because of how we pick it. So we only pick the coffee when it's soft and ready to fall off the trees. We only pick coffee that falls off to the touch. So we're letting the coffee sit on the tree for 4 to 6 weeks longer than coffee from other regions of the world. And so when you try this coffee, that's the first thing you're gonna notice. People say you don't have to put cream or sugar into it. Typically, when people come to my farm and I've sampled this coffee out to thousands of people, so I know no matter how much I tell you about it, you have to try it. That's why we do these giveaways and these samples. Um, just the sweetest cup of coffee, and people drink the coffee and they say, "Wow, this coffee isn't awesome, Jen." They're like, "Wow, this coffee isn't bitter at all, right? I can drink this black." But then they go out for a walk, and then yeah, they take about 15 minutes walking around the farm, and then they come back and they're like, "I'm gonna buy 4 bags of this because my stomach doesn't hurt." That's the kind of the typical sequence of events that when people come to the farm when they give the tastings. They should still grind, but they may some of you may have trouble with it. So definitely you want to, if you have a burr grinder, if you have a really fancy grinder, you want to be careful with the white coffee. If you have a like a spice grinder like I use, one of these cheap spice grinders here, then you won't have any problems. But yeah, that is a legitimate question to ask and it can mess it up. Next item here is our extra fancy bean. So I love showing these ones. These are ridiculous, right? Extra fancy beans are the biggest beans that we have and the biggest beans in the world. I'll give you guys some dollar starts. Biggest beans in the world, ridiculously big. Here's the extra fancy. You guys ready for this? So you can't really tell how big it is because it looks like a coffee bean. No, that's not a good example. That's another extra fancy bean there. Let me find a regular bean. Here we go. Extra fancy, regular bean. This always makes me laugh. Extra fancy is our highest grade of coffee. It does need to be around $8. I ran one of those for 6, but extra fancy beans are the biggest beans in the world. They're so big that you can actually tell that coffee has come from Kona. The only region where the coffee gets this big is Indonesia. And our beans grow larger because we have this active volcano. We're the northernmost coffee growing region in the world, so our beans get more sunlight during the growing season, and so the beans just get big. And those bigger beans are going to have more oils in them, almost like a butter. How about I do it for 7? I'm not going to do any more of those $1 starts. It's so these are the biggest beans in the world. They're buttery. You can show these beans off to your coffee friends, and they're just gonna be like, "What the hell? Where'd you get that bean from?" Biggest beans. I should go like this. This way you can, that's biggest beans in the world, guys. Look at that. You guys. All right, so that's our extra. I'll do one more $1 star on these. And so this one's the best one for espresso. It tastes like a Nutella or a chocolate covered raisin. And in an espresso machine, it really comes out really, really sweet. The sweetness comes out, the smoothness comes out. I'm putting them right next to each other. So this is a fair comparison, right? This extra fancy that you guys are bidding on, this is a kind of a Colombian bean or a regular bean. Sometimes I want to go like this. This is your extra fancy, and this is See, I'm not now. I'm getting silly. Sorry, guys. The white coffee is starting to get to me. But it's buttery. It's smooth. You probably never had a cup of coffee this buttery before. It is a really, really amazing, really amazing cup of coffee here. Don't miss it. $1. All right. We are low on bitters right now, I think. How about I don't have any of the medium estates. I'm removing that from my show. You guys got any requests? How about we do some chocolate? So we also have a chocolate. We also grow chocolate out here. Let me get some chocolate. We got some nibs. So we got some cow nips. These are some of my favorite things to eat on when I'm hungry. So these are my cacao nibs, 4 ounces. These are like a. These will not melt. These are just raw chocolate, like chocolate nuts. Even tastes like a chocolate nut. You can put these in your ice cream. Put them. And chocolate is a nut. Chocolate is a seed of a fruit. It's actually a nut. And these are the raw chocolate nuts. So this is the step of chocolate before it becomes chocolate. You basically you heat these up, and then the cacao liqueur, which is the dark chocolate, melts off, leaves behind the chocolate fat. So this has both of them in it. No additives, no sugar. The dark chocolate I'm not selling right now. Where's the so these are just the chocolate nibs. And so these are healthy. There's nothing grip strength. Your grip strength does increase from the white coffee. So if you guys work out, you'll be able to lift heavier weights with the white coffee. And that's scientifically proven. Oops. Surfing the Cosmos, I saw your last name is Hill. You're one of the Hills. I don't know, I pay attention to family names a lot. I knew a Gary Hill, and there was a high level general, General Hill, to the Hills. And Hills have a long history in Hawaii too, apparently. I think they established one of the first churches down here, the Hills. Listening to metal. Oh yeah, the white coffee makes metal music, or like, pop music just pops out at you. Put on your Taylor Swift. Drink the white coffee and put on your Taylor Swift, and you can start crying. White coffee, it'll get you into it, get you into the music. You're gonna be just in there. Whatever music you drink, I mean, whatever music you listen to, you put that white coffee on. But the chocolate calms you down. Chocolate has this other alkaloid in it called theobromine, which is actually as as good for coughing, suppressing a cough as um, codeine. So chocolate has all sorts of really good stuff in it. It's super healthy, and you get the pure health benefits of the chocolate in your nibs without any additives. It's not. It's got no Doesn't have any milk or sugar added. A lot of times people add nibs, I mean sugar to their nibs, but we don't need to do that. So it's just pure chocolate. Just tastes like a toasted chocolate nut. And you can snack on these all day. You can into your throw them into your throw them into your ice cream or yogurt, granola. Goes perfectly that way. Taylor Swift. You guys don't like Taylor Swift? I kind of like Taylor Swift. I don't really listen to her music anymore, but I used to listen to Taylor Swift when I was younger. I really like listening to pop music. I feel like it keeps me, with the times. So I try to listen to as much pop music as I can. Just I want to stay updated. I want to know what the kids are feeling. Has you been silent lately? I'm Taylor Swift on the inside. K-pop demon hunters. I'm 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 Little Wayne. Depending on the day, on the inside, I'm Little Wayne or I'm Taylor Swift. I'm gonna take a bathroom break, guys. You guys know too much. And then other times I'm Sandin. What's up with that? Supreme Leader. Supreme Leader Sandin. You're right. I'm not there yet. I wish I was Little Wayne, but I'm not. One day. I'll be the Little Wayne of NASA. I could just be the Little Wayne of space. That's my dream. I want to be the Little Wayne of NASA. Now NASA knows what I really want. They're on the inside. You don't see them, but they're all there. Happy 4th of July. You don't see them, but they're all there. I don't display my tattoos, but they're all on the inside. $1. $1. 4 ounces cacao nibs, guys. Cacao nibs are raw chocolate beans broken into little bits. You can eat these right out of the bag. It tastes like a dark chocolate nut. Put 'em in your yogurt, in your ice cream. And they're Hawaiian dark chocolate, so they're not as bitter as your typical dark chocolates. We also have a cacao tea, which if you brew your coffee or brew your chocolate, best way to get chocolate flavor into water. Chocolate's actually very hard to brew. And so the cacao tea is unique because it's actually the shell of the cocoa bean. And like any kind of peel, That's where all of the fragrance, all of the essential oils goes to. So you can just take this and put in your, grind it up with your coffee. You can throw it in with your, just throw it into your tea, and it just puts chocolate right into your tea, and it's nice and calming. It's like really strong. A lot of people are saying they drink this before they go to sleep and it helps them sleep. I don't know if that's true. Great with raisins. I am that girl. That's me. I'm that girl. They have theobromine, which is I think they have a tiny bit of caffeine. Chocolate has a tiny bit of caffeine in it, but not really. Chocolate actually has this other compound called theobromine, which is it's the mirror image of caffeine, and it affects us very differently. It's almost identical caffeine, but it's the isomer. Kind of weird like that, right? But so it does affect us differently than regular caffeine. Um, it's calming rather than stimulatory. A little bit stimulatory, but more calming. Makes you, they say chocolate makes you feel like you're in love. And actually, I used to do this thing where I would react everything with CBD. I don't do this anymore, but I did that, and that really brings it out. Like you really feel all the active compounds in different vegetables. Like spinach becomes like an opiate, really legitimately strong. Chocolate does make you feel like just this love buzz. It's kind of crazy. I don't want to tell you guys about it because I went on my TikTok a year ago and went on it. It went viral, but then someone told me they went to the hospital from doing it. I was like, oh shit, I better not tell you guys about this stuff. Some of you guys are drug addicts and you're gonna kill yourself from vegetables. I sometimes pair it. I miss Ms. Kona coffee. That's me. Do I look Mexican? Puerto Rican? You don't smoke it. You cook it with CBD, and you need to use an enzyme, pineapple enzyme, um, or papaya enzyme, and you cook it, and the enzyme binds the CBD with whatever active compound. So like parsley feels like MDA, cilantro feels like a benzo, carrots just calms you down. What else? Chocolate. Oh my god, chocolate is strong. It's good stuff. Cilantro. You'd be surprised. Every vegetable has a superpower. It just needs to be brought out. It's like humans. All of us have superpowers, but you just need that one ingredient to bring it out. But I'm serious. Every vegetable has a superpower that we don't know about. So those vegetarians, vegetarians, those vegetarians, they're just getting high. What else did I try? Parsley, cilantro. Parsley makes me feel drunk. Chocolate really strong. Coffee is like meth. I never tried oregano. Never tried that. I stopped doing it. I actually quit weed for many years ago. Now I've quit weed for real, but many years ago I quit weed by switching to combining CBD with vegetables. And I was doing that for like 6 months instead of smoking weed. I was just cooking up different vegetables with CBD every day and unlocking the superpowers of the vegetables. But after a while, I don't know. I know what happened. Givey's our white coffee today. Yep. Mulane. I've never smoked Mulane. What else did I combine CBD? CBD with spinach gives you like a nice painkiller. Because spinach, rubisco, I think it's rubisco, is actually a short chain opiate. Nutmeg, I did that. Yep, I've done that. I tried that. That definitely. but you can get the MDMA feeling from parsley. So I didn't really use the nutmeg. I went to the parsley. Yams, yams are a stimulant. Um, what else? Coffee feels like meth when you combine it with CBD. Not that I would know. And what else was there? I feel like that's all of it. Carrots I've tried. It's kind of ridiculous, right? Carrots, but spinach. I was hooked on spinach for a while, but it was a little too strong. No good. Full sun, healing birds, full sun, good drainage, but it wants to be wet. It wants as much organic matter as you can throw on it. Turmeric is a gross feeder, which means it can handle raw organic matter. Yeah. It's a little bit late in the season, so you might want to end up bringing. I don't know if you put it in a greenhouse or something. I don't know where you live either. If you're more in the south, you're probably going to be okay. You can get up to a pound per little finger if you just toss. The the way I like to grow it is you put them in the 5 gallon buckets, load it with soil, and just keep on piling on the organic matter. And at the end of the season, your whole bucket, it's like potatoes. It'll just fill up the entire bucket with turmeric. So turmeric is a nice thing to for the home gardeners. You can a lot of your local health food stores will buy it from you. And our turmeric, this is a Hawaiian turmeric, so I've less the turmeric. The best way to store it is just to leave it out. Becky, depending if you the best value is the Hawaiian, 80% as good as the Kona. The best grade, I would say, the sweetest one is the extra fancy, and those are the biggest beans. But here's the turmeric. No one wants any turmeric. What else do we have going on here? All right, let me run more coffee. Let's go back to the coffee now. Um, if you guys want the highest grade of coffee that we have, this is you should use them. Ideally, use them within a month, maybe 6 weeks. All this coffee was just roasted, a little bit like horseradish, related to ginger. Planting buckets. That's if you can do that and even put a light on them during the winter months, it'll keep on going. But yeah, you get a nice harvest with that. So this is our extra fancy medium. These are the biggest beans we have. The professional coffee cuppers have said this is the one you should use if you are making if you're making an espresso. This medium roast is ideal. It's sweet, brown sugar, caramel, raisin. When I say it, and that's the thing about our coffee. A lot of times people say notes of brown sugar, notes of caramel. Grind it with a regular grinder. Yep. The white coffee, I don't know what kind of grinder you have. It can break your grinder, but you may want to put the grinder on the coarsest setting so it doesn't clog it up. White coffee is a little bit hard to grind, definitely. If you have a blade grinder, then you're not going to have a problem. Drill holes in the bottom bucket and make sure it has good, well drained, and just keep on piling on the organic matter. Use chicken manure or compost. It loves that stuff. It explodes when you throw on the organic matter. So it'll get nice and big. And I've had people as far north as Maine growing these in greenhouses and selling them to their local health food stores. So it is a nice kind of thing to get good at growing because you could actually, health food stores will buy it from you for like $12 a pound and they'll sell it for 25. Baratza. Okay, you gotta be careful with those. Definitely. The baratzas are just high grade. It's a really fancy grinder, known as the best, right? But it can break those. It can break the baratzas. So you might want to get maybe start at the coarsest setting because it's definitely going to break it if you grind it fine. The OG is surprisingly good. Let me show you the OG. Where's my bag of OG? I don't even feel like getting up anymore. It's that point of the day. So off grade coffee is our lowest grade of coffee. A lot of and it's depending on who you go to, your off grade can have it's just the highest variability. But this batch of off grade was actually just really good. I don't know why it was this good, but it is. I don't ask questions. When I get a good batch of coffee, I don't ask questions. So these off grade beans were just, so what you expect from off grade is you expect a bunch of beans like this. This is the off grade bean. Ah, I can't even hold my beans. These are the off grade beans here. Supposedly, these are so you should get a batch of just beans that look like this, the ugliest beans. They're still grown in Kona. But what I end up getting this time was this. These are nice beans. So this batch, the off grade varies from batch to batch. This one was a nice batch. And so you better get this one before it's gone. I don't maybe I'll always get them this good. I don't know. But every batch is gonna be a little bit different. Don't bid it above 21, guys. Uh keep it at 23 because I'm gonna run it again. And it's full pound. So these are really nice beans. I don't want you guys to overpay because I have to cancel your orders. And so these are really nice beans. They can taste exactly like Kona coffee. I mean, it is Kona coffee. Off grade should be all the beans like this. It's supposed to be these like shells and like, this ugly bean. But this batch of coffee, most of the beans are actually really good. Some people, when they sell you off grade, it's like moldy, and that's why I was like, I don't want to sell you guys off grade because any usually, but I Sandon said put in an order for off grade. I put in an order for off grade, and it was good. It was really good coffee. So I don't know if it's going to be good this good every time, and but this batch of off grade, and this batch was even better than our Hawaiian. Oh, they tried to charge me a Hawaiian price. So maybe they've messed up and they gave me Hawaiian coffee this time. I don't know. But I was like, no, you got to charge me for the off grade. So that's the ugly bean, but this is the good bean. This is the good. So most of the beans are actually really good. And I think it's really just a function of the way we mill our coffee. So when we mill our coffee, we have the shaker table. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with shaker tables. That's how you fluidize the coffee. So we mill the coffee. You have to shell it. I grow, but we're also part of a co-op. So I only grow 1 to 2,000 pounds of coffee a year, which is so within a month of my harvest, I sell out. And but we are part of a co-op of like it's an informal co-op, like 25, 30 farms. We all use the same mill and we have the same picking practices. So I will buy a lot of green coffee from my neighbors. So when you mill the coffee, you shell it, right? And then you shell the coffee, then you run the coffee over this table, which shakes the coffee so it kind of flows. It flows down this ramp, and the less dense beans float to the top. The dense beans go to the bottom, and that's the first way we grade the coffee. And so the off grade is when you take the less dense beans. It's the beans that are basically at the top of that table. But sometimes, if all your beans are good, even the off grade beans, and I think that's what happened this time. So yeah, so these beans, I mean, some of these beans are extra fancy beans, right? So I was comparing the off grade. You get an extra fancy bean in the off grade. It's sort of like Xi Jinping of the Chinese Communist Party. He got rejected 20 times. Discount deals. Happy July 4th. Xi Jinping of the Chinese Communist Party got rejected 20 times before he got accepted into the party, right? So that's similar to off grade. You sometimes you get just good extra fancy beans in the off grade just because he was unlucky. He maybe he started out at the wrong spot, and but if you run the off grade through, if you run the off grade through the mill enough times, you're gonna pull out all the extra fancy beans. So you just got to try one more time. That's all I'm saying. You might have gotten put into the reject pile, and it was just, and you were actually an extra fancy bean, but and that's what's going on with this off grade. So most of these off grade beans are actually really good, at least this batch. So whatever happened, this is a batch of like Xi Jinping coffee. You could have become some alleged coffee. Uh-huh. Was it good discount deals? And are you still getting the buzz? Because it's been a few months now. 200%. That's 3 times better, right? Because 100% is 2 times better. So my coffee is 3 times better than the coffee you guys are buying in Hawaii. And I think that's true. It's exact. No one wants the Xi Jinping coffees. All right, that analogy didn't work. It didn't work. So all I'm saying is these. If you examine these beans, this batch is really, really good. And so this is a deal today. No one wants the Xi Jinping coffee. But yeah, this coffee, if you compare this coffee, it's a little bit of a non-fair comparison too, because the darker roast coffee, here, let's just compare them. You can see there's on my right here is the Hawaiian, on my left is the off grade, almost the same in this case. So I do have a few more pounds of this OG coffee. I'll have the OG in the extra dark relatively regularly, but I'm gonna, it's the quality is gonna vary. I think that's the biggest thing about the OG is the quality will vary a lot. And this batch is really good. Next batch may not be as good. It does sell itself. That's why I give away so much coffee. Every show I'm giving away 20 to 32 ounces, which is almost 60 ounces of coffee, which is what, like 3 pounds, being like 3 pounds of coffee a day. Bag 30. All right. Hey, Crystal. Good seeing you. We're doing some OG dark. I don't. I'm just gonna. So this is like you can drink this coffee every day. It's only a little bit more expensive than the. Not even. It's about the same price as what we're paying for Pete's. I should once I get some shirts. I'll get some shirts. So we'll just run this OG extra dark. This is the only coffee you have that has that sheen on it too. If you guys like your coffee a little bit oily, this is the one with the oils on it. This one tastes like a dark roast, like it's got that kind of almost like a butter pretzel flavor to it. So it's a very dark roast. It's not burned, but it is definitely like a dark pretzel. And you got that sheen on it. You're no longer going to be able to drink other coffees. And then once you drink this, I feel like once you drink this off grade, you're not even gonna be able to buy cheap coffees because you're gonna be like, I could just get this off grade for the same price. Why am I paying for? So this one, the best espresso according to professional cuppers is our medium. But this one, for most people, you're getting a really dark espresso, so this will make a great espresso as well. Yeah. The only thing I just have to, yeah. So this batch of OG really good, but every batch there's gonna be a wide variability. I think this was the first time I ran the OG. I did do the OG a few years ago. I was gonna sell it as dirty American coffee because we're not allowed to tell you it comes from Hawaii. We're not supposed to tell you it comes on the label. We're not. That's why you don't see anything about Hawaii on my label there, because that's technically we're not supposed to even tell you guys this comes from Hawaii. So I was gonna sell it as the dirty American coffee. We can say I mean, it's not certified organic. It's organically grown. We can say that if we want, but you cannot say it comes from Hawaii. So our coffee, because it's coming from, we can say it comes from America. So we can say it comes from America because the laws are Hawaiian laws. Rooster Farms. The laws that govern this coffee are Hawaiian state laws. They're not federal laws. So So you can tell people it comes from America. Hopefully you win a giveaway. Enter that giveaway. It's a 2 ounce of white SBR. Maybe you'll win. Oh, he's gonna poop on me. These guys will go over your head. Geckos are mean. They'll find a way to poop in your coffee. They'll poop on your head, and it's not by mistake. They're doing it on purpose. So it seems like Sandin seems like this OG. You were right. I owe you another one. Oh, that was my last OG, guys. That's it. That's it. Yeah, they poop on you, and they got salmonella in them apparently. So we gotta keep the geckos off our coffee. All God. That's it. No more OG. I gotta keep an eye out for your orders, Send, and throw you on something extra. I don't think the last order you made, I was able to track it down before it got sent out, but I'll keep an eye out. All right, guys, that's our OG coffee. So we sold out all of our. It smelled like vinegar. That's not good. Did it smell like vinegar? How did it taste? As long as it tastes good. But yeah, the natural coffees sometimes will have a vinegariness to them. Just clean my coffee maker. Okay, that's why. All right, I'm gonna just catch my breath here. And if you guys just joined me, my name is Ed. I'm coming to you live from Rooster Farms. That is not a green screen back there. That's actually a cook pine. Huh. I don't know. But did it taste okay or what do you think? Maybe you got a it's possible you got like a few beans that were over fermented sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes you might get even like 3 or 4 beans that are just over fermented. That is possible. Hopefully it wasn't your entire batch, but once in a while you will get some beans that maybe got over fermented, and then you'll get a slight. We call that whiny. That's a whiny bean. So you might have gotten a whiny bean there. And someone, at a cupping contest, I had a bean like that. Tasted like a vinegar miso bean. It was, and I told the guy next to me, I was like, "This tastes like vinegar," and he was like, "It's an acquired taste." And so, so sometimes you get a whiny bean. That just means some of those beans, one or two, or some percentage of those beans might have gotten a little over fermented. So hopefully that isn't the whole batch, but maybe it was a medium Hawaiian. I don't know. I will I will keep an eye out for that though. You have a whiner wife, a whiny wife. Me too, McShane. Your wife is a winner. A winner, not a whiner. A winner. In writing, you said winner. We're not this way. You're not going to get caught. She's a winner. All right, what are we doing next, guys? Yeah, the cacao nibs kind of taste like a little bit beany too. So yeah, so all this coffee is grown in Hawaii. We don't spray it with any chemical pesticides. We're only using naturally occurring soil fungus and soil bacteria. We also grow turmeric, cinnamon tea. I'm still trying to set up the cinnamon tea. I got the dryer set up. I haven't been able to dry any yet, so I will have that back at some point pretty soon. Gonna have some turmeric tea, flower teas, which will be really, really, really. That's an awesome tea. But that's I'm waiting for the turmeric to flower. So right now we only have coffee. Coffee is really powerful. If you take the peel of the coffee and you process it for its alkaloids, it actually is really strong. So coffee's got a lot of good stuff in it. All right, so we did all of our off grade. I got some white extra fancy. If you guys are interested in the white coffee, so our light coffee and our white coffee are roasted so light that they. Your wife's a winner. Whiner. You mean winner. We all mean winner, guys. We're not saying whiner, we're saying winner. Like winner, winner, buy me dinner. Our wives are not whiners, they're winners. Just keep it in writing as winner. Because you don't want her coming on and being like, what are you saying about me? I'm a whiner? Is that what you said? Someone take a screenshot of this, sends it to my wife. No, we said winner. You're a winner. That's right. No. She's a winner, not a whiner. This is a support group for husbands. That's what it really comes down to. It's just a support group. Or maybe for wives with husbands who are wives. It's not limited to this to your gender, right? It's just sometimes the husband's the whiner, sometimes the wife is the whiner. So this is just a support group for people with spouses who are winners, and we just feel inadequate. Here's some. Let's do some 2 ounce samples, and then the whiners they're gonna leave. They're not gonna buy my coffee. Me too. Thank God. Thank God. You're the winner. I also got a hammer. You know, you guys ever need a good hammer? Like if you guys are, you guys got muscle aches, I find a good hammer is what you need. Whew, really, sometimes you just need a good hammer. You guys ever do this with a hammer? I got this. I saw this at Ross stores. I was like, I need to get this hammer for my back. So, there you go. That's what I needed. All right, so no takers on. Let's do some 2 ounce Hawaiian. Shouldn't be whiny, but if it is and you don't like it, I will give you your money back. But this coffee, all of our coffee is guaranteed not to give you any acid reflux or indigestion. Massages, I don't do those anymore, winter, winter, because I've told you the stories of massages, and yeah, sometimes you just want to avoid avoid that situation. Sometimes you just never know. You never know what you're walking into. So I just try to avoid those. Extra fancy medium here. This is the highest grade of our coffee. This one's for espresso. So if you want to make a good espresso, this one's going to give you a buttery, milk chocolate covered raisin flavor to it. This is normally $100 a pound. I don't know if you guys know what you're getting here, but I will. So Elizabeth, you got the best coffee for $2 on your first purchase. So you're in trouble because once you drink this coffee, you're not gonna be able to drink the cheap coffee, but you're not gonna be able to get it for $2. So you're in trouble. But here, let's try this again. The extra fancy beans here are the biggest beans that we have, and they're all perfect. They're like what less than 1% defects. It's the highest quality beans that we have. So, this is an extra fancy bean here, and then this is a regular bean. Just a ridiculous difference. Huge difference in the bean quality. This one's going to be buttery, smoother, sweeter. Um, so the extra fancy is probably the best tasting of all our coffees. So if you are looking for just the highest quality bean in the world, beans actually don't grow this large anywhere else because we have the active volcano. This volcano is constantly replenishing the soil with micronutrients, and that makes the beans here grow larger than beans, more oily, fuller in flavor, which is full genetic potential. And then, the these are about 5% of our coffee. We actually screen out the biggest beans. So it's like this is the cream of the crop here. Normally $90 a pound. We're doing some 2-ounce samplers so you can try it. But $4. I can't run any more of these for $4. So two of you guys got some great deals uh, on that medium extra fancy. I do have some dark Kona samplers. About 25% of these samplers are extra fancy beans. These include all four grades of coffee: prime, number one, fancy, and extra fancy. In the dark roast, this one's going to taste like a sweet toasted caramel. Awesome for drip, espresso. Just doesn't have the bitterness that you guys are used to in coffee. And the estate is the kind of the standard grade of coffee that combines all the top four grades of coffee. It has to have less than 10% defects. I'm hammering my leg here. You guys don't use hammers on your. It's the muscle hammer. Drink enough of this coffee, you just lose it. So I'm at the point in my show where I've lost the narrative. I'm selling muscle hammers, and winner by winner is talking about is talking about massages here. What are you even doing here, guys? Why aren't you guys at the barbecue? Why aren't you guys spending time with your family? What's the bamboo for? You can massage yourself with a bamboo. You do bamboo. You stretch your back out like that. Why aren't you? Why aren't you guys with the family? What's going on? You'd rather hang out with me. That's because your wife is a winner. Sometimes there's too much winning, and you gotta spend more time with the losers. Now our peaberry is the densest bean that we have. It's less than 1% of the beans. 7 ounces for $56 is what you're paying for peaberry. Um, in terms of if you went to the store, peaberry. Umar, how you doing? Umar makes me feel safe when I see him. I'm like, oh, because he was on my TikTok too, like years ago, and he came over here, so I'm like, familiar face. So the peaberry is a deformity in the bean. It's about 1 to 3% of the beans, but then these are Kona peaberries, so these are the bigger peaberries, and the dark peaberry. These beans are twice as dense as your standard Kona. So you got to measure it by weight. If you're using the same scooper for your coffee, you're going to find that this coffee may come out bitter because you're using twice as much coffee per scoop. So you want to measure it based on weight rather than by volume. And the peaberry happens at the tips of the trees. It's when one of the beans takes over the entire fruit. And so the peaberry is kind of the most premium coffee. It's $56 for 12 ounces. Some people swear by peaberry because every region will produce peaberry. I miss those days, winter. I do. I miss those days. But I do find I'm more present when I'm not on the weed, on the loco weed, on the devil's weed. We got an extra fancy white here. This is the highest grade of our white coffee. This one, so I was talking about the light and the white. There's this other alkaloid in coffee called trigonylene. And in rat studies and animal studies, trigonylene has been found to modulate pain, reduce inflammation, reduce blood insulin or increase insulin sensitivity, reduce glucose levels in your blood. So all sorts of stuff. Also good for skin and boost your NAD levels. Happy 4th. You won, Givy. Congratulations. The devil's weed. Why don't I do one of these? So I want you guys to try this. So why don't I give you a $1 start on these? Nothing better than a hammer for your tight muscles, guys. It's the hammer. I feel like someone should start a company, the Muscle Hammer, and just sell these as massage tools. And start the Muscle Hammer. What's the best way to make a single cup? I would say pour over. Yeah, pour over coffee. Easy to make single cup, single servings. I'll do one more of these. Ah, I didn't even do the white coffee. What's wrong with me, guys? That was a medium extra fancy. Let me give you. I'm sorry, guys. I screwed up. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. This one. So I don't know what's wrong with me today. I'm at that point in the show where I'm not really here anymore. All right, let's try this again. I'm having some troubles here too. All right, I'm trying to run these $1 auctions. So the light and the white coffee has trigonylene in it, whereas your dark coffee, most of that trigonylene is gone, and that's why our coffee gives you such a buzz. It's the light coffee. It's not the caffeine. It's actually this compound in the coffee called trigonylene. And when you roast trigonylene to oh shit. Don't buy the white coffee, guys. I put it. Don't buy that, please. I bet you guys bought it. Give me 1 sec, guys. I'm just trying to. Darn it. Made that same mistake. Okay, here we go. Thank God. I don't think you guys saw that. All right, so this is our white extra fancy here, loaded with trigonylene, which is the other alkaloid in coffee. Just all sorts of crazy stuff about this coffee. The shipping cost should say it, depending on depends on which one, how many items you bought. I think the maximum shipping, the lettuce is a painkiller too, guys. If you take you grow lettuce and you let it flower and you take the milky resin from the lettuce and you eat that, good stuff. That's right. Wild lettuce. Hey, Macy, happy 4th. So, lettuce. I got to start selling lettuce. All right, this is our. And, oops, sorry, guys. I keep doing that. This is our extra fancy white and and really good stuff. Even regular lettuce will do that. Regular lettuce will get is a painkiller too, especially if you combine it with CBD. But I don't do that. I don't sell CBD. All right, let's do these at a $1 auction here. So this is the extra fancy white. This gives you a buzz. You you really just you start flying with this, and the trigonolene increases your grip strength. It gives you just increases the NAD levels in your muscles. It's an anti-aging compound, really really strong. The extra fancy is the highest grade of this that we have, so it's going to be the smoothest coffee out of all the whites. We have this in the Hawaiian as well. And yes, I can run a medium roast for you. And this one, just has all sorts of benefits to it that you got to research it yourself. I'm gonna run a few more of these before I go to Earl. And this one tastes like has a little bit of a toasted corn tea taste to it, flavor. So it is a little bit different in that respect. Let me run that medium roast for you. Did you want a medium Hawaiian or a medium extra fancy? The medium extra fancy is the best one that we have, but it's a little bit more pricey. I do that for 25 bucks here. And those are those big buttery beans, right? These are the biggest beans that we have, all perfect. So this is a medium extra fancy, and then I'll run a bag of the 12-ounce Hawaiian, which is half the price, and I'll run some Magnus as well. Yep. So this is the extra fancy medium, which is the biggest beans in the world and the smoothest cup of coffee you'll ever have. Whereas if you want the medium Hawaiian, let me run one of those. I don't have any medium Hawaiian. I'm sorry about that. And I don't have any medium. I don't have any medium Hawaiian right now. I don't even have any medium estate, so I don't have any of those. I only have the medium pea berry, and then I have a medium. I only have the medium and the more expensive grades. So I might have some medium Hawaiian next week. If you want a medium pea berry, I'll do that. 8-ounce pea berry. This is a medium pea berry here. And I'll run some Mac nuts. I'll go back to the white coffee after that. But again, the white coffee just it tastes very different than other coffees. It tastes like a grain. Thanks, thanks TJK. Appreciate that. Yeah, they're taking away flat rate boxes. I do have the medium light, which is pretty close to the medium. So if you want a medium light Hawaiian, I'll run that. Neck, hammer my neck. So this one's a medium light if you guys want that. And this one gives you the buzz. Somewhat of the buzz of the white. If you're looking for a buzz, even the white coffee is going to have quite a bit of buzz compared to your dark roast. There's that other alkaloid. How does ground advantage work? It's really fast, so it's air. So we have a little bit of a advantage because we don't have ground in Hawaii. So you're still going to get it in about 4 days. I think it's 1 day slower than priority. Yeah. And the sample of the white is right here. And this is in the extra fancy grade. So they're just perfect white beans. I can show you these. So extra fancy, biggest beans. So even when you roast coffee darker, they expand. But this is the white coffee. So even our white coffee, it's even though it's raw, so you still have that silver skin on it, right? You still have skin, and it's the center is still kind of green. That's what makes the white coffee white. And this will give you the strongest buzz because I think it has like 20 or 30 times more trigonolene, which is another alkaloid in coffee. Coffee has two alkaloids. If you guys, alkaloids are things like, oh yeah, sorry about that. I didn't run that yet. I'll run that next. Alkaloids are things like cocaine, quinine, trigonolene, caffeine, nicotine, all the bad things in life. or the good things in life. And there's two of them in coffee. One of them is caffeine, which we all know about, and the other one is trigonylate, which almost none of us have heard about. But trigonylate is now being clinically studied for all sorts of stuff. You have to do your own research. I don't want. I can't sell it. Oh yeah, I'll run that next. I can't sell it as a supplement. I don't want to tell you about the health benefits. All I can tell you is that it'll it's gets your brain going a little bit like a truth serum. You don't want to be around people who are you can't be open. You can't say things because you're gonna get yourself in trouble. When I first started drinking the white coffee, I this is Mac notes here. I got kicked off of TikTok. My old TikTok account got permanently suspended for e-commerce. I'm not allowed to sell on TikTok anymore. And then, which was kind of a good thing because it forced me to come on to Whatnot, where it's a little bit more free. I haven't gotten in trouble on Whatnot yet. But I get guaranteed eventually I'm gonna get kicked out. I know it. I've gotten kicked off of every platform I've ever been on. I haven't got kicked off of X. Don't use it before church. Yep, don't use that. You might actually want to use it because you might get really into things. Gets you really into things. Yep, let me run that. Sorry, Jacob. All right, let's do that. Light medium again. This is a 12-ounce bag of the light medium. This one's the sweetest light coffee that we have, actually. I really like the Hawaiian light because even though the bean is less dense, as a result of that lower density, the center of the bean roasts better, so you don't have almost no acidity in the light coffee, whereas most light coffees are very sour. Even our higher grade light coffees have a touch of sourness to them, whereas this light coffee just has zero sourness whatsoever. Happy 4th of July, guys. There's a 12-ounce bag of the light. Also will give you a buzz. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm hammering myself. And that's our light. And then I'm gonna do some more of these whites. So the white coffee will, if you want a white coffee in the Hawaiian grade, I do have that. The Hawaiian white coffee will get you just as much of a buzz or even more of a buzz than the Kona white, but half the price. All right. So if you guys are sensitive to price, which we all should be, I guess, these are just the smaller beans, slightly less dense beans, same flavor profile, coming off the same trees, right? All of our coffee starts out all mixed up together in the parchment bag. I'm really only separate them at the last minute. So I'll run this one. Let's do it with $1 auction here on the white Hawaiian 12-ounce bag of the white Hawaiian. This one is the one that gives you the buzz, the body high, a head rush, a lot of energy, almost like a monster, almost like an energy drink. I can run the 12-ounce dark as well. Almost like an energy drink. Probably can replace your monster drinks. Don't want to say that. Probably can replace your energy drinks, but it's actually good for you. It's actually healthy. It actually feeds your cells on the cellular level. So it boosts your NAD levels in your muscles. It probably explains a lot of the health benefits of coffee. And some people are saying it's really helping them with a bunch of stuff. But I can't talk about the health benefits. I can only tell you it also makes you feel kind of what should I say it, a little bit high, but not at most it's like weed. It's not beyond weed, so it's mild. Almost like maybe a little bit alcohol-y, but not really. Not even as strong as alcohol. Alcohol is strong. It's not like alcohol. I don't want to sell it like it really gets you high because I've had people who really, obviously drug addicts, and they bought this white coffee and they were pissed off at me. Yeah, they were pissed. They were like, "This is not getting me high." So before I was telling people it's like a painkiller, it's not. It's not. It doesn't get you high. It's high for sober people. A little bit on the same level as weed, but I don't want to tell you it's not going to replace your drugs. So don't spend your money on this. Don't spend your drug money on this, because then you're going to be pissed off. You're going to be coming back to me and asking for your money back, because like you're going to be withdrawing. You're going to be yelling at me. Don't spend your drug money on this. Let me do a bag of the dark. You wanted the dark Hawaiian, right? I don't have any more of the OG. I'm completely out of that. But if you want the dark Hawaiian, this was just roasted yesterday. So super fresh. The light, the white, the white, all the pea berries are just roasted yesterday. So different line. I think so, Crystal May. Yep. Some people have said that same thing, that wake awesome for wake and bake. Because it does give you this body high. And I think, it almost counteracts that heaviness that you get from smoking weed. So this is our 12-ounce bag of our dark Hawaiian. This is the dark Hawaiian here. Look at those beans. Really, really nice beans. We don't roast it quite dark enough for it to become oily, because just below that. And oily just means it's dark. Some people think oily means it's good. No, it's just that it's really over dark, and that brings out the oils. So being oily doesn't mean the bean is good. In fact, beans tend to, if you roast the coffee very light and it gets oily, beans tend to be oily when they're older too. So if you see a really oily bean, it either means it was roasted very dark or it means it was a little bit older. All right, I'm gonna do the deal of the day, guys. I always do this, and someone just gets like an amazing deal. I don't know if I should do this, but I gotta take a bathroom break. So I'm gonna give you guys a $1 start on 3 pounds of the dark Hawaiian. I don't know if I should do this, guys. I hope I'm not making a mistake. All right, I'm gonna be right back. 3 pounds of the dark Hawaiian here, and it does seem to dull the pain. Yeah, I shouldn't say that either. You know what? We're not supposed to tell you that. So it doesn't cure any diseases. It's not gonna dull the pain. You're imagining it. You're imagining it. You're imagining that, because it doesn't do that. It's all in your head. $63 for 3 pounds. Not bad. How do you grind the coffee at home? You can use a hammer. If you guys have a hammer, you can grind it that way. Otherwise, you just go to this Walmart and buy a $10 grinder. If you have a Ninja or a what's it called, food processor, works. Blenders work. You could use a rock. If you have a mortar and a pestle, that works. Okay, deal of the day. Heiko, which is a cafe out here. Really great cafe. Great atmosphere. If you guys are in Hawaii, check out Heiko. They're selling their Hawaiian coffee for 2 pounds for 115 bucks. You just got 3 pounds for 65 bucks. So I can't be doing deal of the day. Sometimes one person will get a really good deal like that. And what else are we doing? You need the white, XF white. People are telling you about the XF white. It's good stuff. Now, if you want an 8-ounce bag of that, so the white coffee is unique because it's loaded with trigonylene, which is another alkaloid in coffee, and that's actually the alkaloid that's giving you the buzz. It's not the caffeine. That's why you can't drink coffee. That's why you can't drink tea and feel all buzzed up like you do when you drink coffee. It's not the caffeine, right? Little known fact. In fact, almost no one even talks about this other alkaloid in coffee called trigonylene. I'm not sure why no one talks about it. One of the reasons might be when you roast the coffee to medium in the dark, most of it's already gone. It becomes flavor. But trigonylate is actually methylated niacin. So it's actually well, it's not vitamin B3, but it's vitamin B3 in the form that our body needs it in. So when you eat niacin, your body actually has to put it through your liver and put methyl groups to make it bioavailable. If you guys are into vitamins, you guys know methylated vitamins can be absorbed. Not everyone can absorb vitamins unless they're methylated. And so this has vitamin B3 in its methylated form, which is not vitamin B3. So that's why you don't see vitamin B3 in your coffee, like in the nutritional facts, because it's technically not niacin, it's methylated. But it goes straight to your muscles, it replenishes your NAD levels. So it's really, really good for you. And that's, I think, where a lot of the health benefits of coffee come from. And there's all sorts of other stuff. You gotta look it up yourself because I'm kind of not allowed to talk about it. But methylated niacin is where it's at. This is an 8-ounce bag of it. I also have it in the Hawaiian. If you don't want to spend, I can do 25 bucks for 12 ounces of the Hawaiian. But this is 8 ounces extra fancy. If you want a sample of it, I can run a 2-ounce sample of those. And you do build a tolerance to this coffee. It's that strong. So when you first try it, you're really gonna feel a buzz, and then after a while, it's ground white. Interesting. That could be interesting. Iron Sword. Yeah, that could be an interesting drink. People should be doing playing around with this. Someone eventually is gonna hit on this. Maybe it'll be me, but like an alcohol with this white coffee or some all sorts of stuff. You can put this in your health. If you work out a lot, this this is good stuff. If you work out a lot, like it increases your grip strength, your muscle strength. You can lift more weights on it. It's almost like taking creatine. Um, so it does have really strong effects that you don't get from regular coffee, and that's just because of how lightly roasted it is. Because of that light roast, you get some effects that you normally with ground white. It won't go rancid in that alcohol. Nope. It'll be it'll stay good. I have drank it cold and it tastes, beany. Guys, I see some tension there. There's some tension. All right, here's a 12 ounce, 8 ounce of our fancy white coffee. I see some tension there. We're also giving away 2 ounces of the Hawaiian white for you guys to try. So get in that giveaway. I give away a lot of coffee. I give away like 3 pounds of coffee a day, I think, is what I worked it out to. Yeah, Miss Gemini, if you want to cancel it and rebid it, I'm okay with that. I want you to feel happy about it. So let me know if you do want to request a cancellation, rebid it. I'm happy to redo that for you. I don't want you to feel like you overpaid. It's all about the feeling. All right, what are we doing next here? We also have that white in the Hawaiian grade. If you guys want a white in the Hawaiian grade coffee, almost as good. I feel like it's a little bit less, a little bit too strong. It seems to be stronger in the Hawaiian grade. Um, I think the Hawaiian, I don't know if I told you guys, I have, but when coffee gets damaged, and the Hawaiian has a little bit more, beans that are just not perfect, and when the bean isn't perfect, it produces more toxins that repel bugs and pests because it doesn't, it wants more time to gain the sugars and recover from the damage, and those compounds that it produces are what gives you the jitters. So it's a little bit more jittery. Some people like that though. And when I say a little bit, hey Jules Chess, good seeing you. Um, Maybe you'll win. Sometimes they do that. I've noticed people, they just give it to the people who should get it. I believe in astrology. I'm not a scientist. I don't really believe in. I kind of do. I kind of do. I actually do. All right, no takers on the white Hawaiian. What else should we do today? How about I let you guys bid on 1 8-ounce bag of the Pea Berry Dark? Larger bag of the Pea Berry Dark. I'm gonna do a $1 start on this. And again, the Pea Berry Dark. If you go to the stores out here, there's only one store selling Pea Berry consistently, which is ABC stores. Um, they sell it for 56 bucks for 7 ounces. It's a good benchmark, but they also are a tourist store, so they do make the prices higher. But it's hard to find Pea Berry. They're the only ones that have it consistently. Even I can't find peaberry all the time. Maybe like I've had the peaberry for the last 2 months though, so I've been able to get it pretty consistently. But when I can't get it, I can't get it for like 6 months. So the peaberry is a denser bean, and it's smoother. It's almost buttery, and so I'm doing the 1 8-ounce bag here. You guys can bid on it. This peaberry was also roasted yesterday. Super super fresh coffee. Yeah, work through your samples, Jules. Don't buy too much of my coffee. It's better to get it fresh. The only times you might want to stock up is the Katura, but we're out of Katura, so I wouldn't get I wouldn't be getting, I wouldn't be going crazy. Yeah, great deal on that, Doug. Doug, you look like an Irish guy. Are you an Irish guy? All right, what are we doing next? I shouldn't comment on how people look. That's how you get yourself into trouble. Let's bid a $1 start on a 12-ounce bag of Hawaiian Dark. Let's try that. Nope, not Irish. There you go. I thought I'd tell you guys. I started the show this morning by telling you guys there's in this one language, the word for republic, since it's July 4th, the word for republic is Jim Harlot's, the republic, and the head of the republic is Race Jim Harlot's. It's Latin plus English, the Jim Harlots. So that's what they think about republics. Dark espresso. This let me give you a sample. So the dark espresso. Extra fancy dark. The extra fancy dark is the best one for espresso, or the extra fancy medium. So I would say if you really love espresso, this is the one to go with. The blonde, you could do a medium or a light roast, pretty close to a blonde roast. The espresso beans, these are our espresso beans. I hope I didn't insult you by saying you look like an Irish guy. If I did, maybe you're Scottish, so now you're pissed off. All right, guys. Yeah, I did it again. I screwed up. Starting to go into bad territory. This is why I get kicked off of all of my platforms. Scotch Irish. That's the wrong kind of Irish. See, I did it again. I screwed up. I ever tell you guys I don't trust Scottish people. I, God, I just can't help it. I I just can't help it. You do like Scotch. I don't trust French people either. I love French people though. They're so smart. They're the only people that really read books still, I feel like. So you must read. That's where you get that reading thing from. Is French. It's the French in you. I gotta stop, guys. We gotta get off this line of thought. Get me off of this line of thought, please. All right, so that I'll do one more of these. Let's focus on the coffee. So extra fancy bean right here, biggest beans in the world. Why is it okay for me to say I don't trust Scottish people? Why is that okay? Hmm? It's not okay. Why is that okay? What if one of you guys said I don't trust Chinese people? Is that okay? Ex- Extra fancy, regular beans. So that's what you guys. $1. See, this is what happens when you start saying stuff like that. That was my punishment right away. I got punished. Hillbilly's like, I don't trust Chinese people either. I gotta stop, guys. This is why I get kicked off. This is why I got kicked off my TikTok. All right, what did you ask for? Extra fancy. Here's a sample of our extra fancy white. And I'm doing these $1 starts just for the hell of it. I'm at that point where I'm not even paying attention anymore. So, but here's our extra extra fancy white. And these are big. If you're Scottish, you know why I don't trust you. This comes from experience. Extra fancy white coffee right now. Extra fancy. You know what I'm talking about. Extra fancy white. It's only because I trusted you too much at one point. At some point, I trusted you too much, and so now I don't trust you at all. That's just how it always goes. If you don't trust people to start with, you'll never be racist. Maybe you still will be. I don't know. All right, extra fan. Yeah, that's what I used to say, but I realized if you hate everyone equally, you're still racist. You're just racist against everyone. You're still racist. I do request if you want to do a cancellation, I'm happy to do that. You're still racist or you're just an asshole. Okay, let's change the topic. See, we, come on, guys, get me off this top. Get me off this line of thought. I'm like an AI. It's not my fault. You guys started it. My wife says I'm a doggist because I don't treat dogs like people. Okay, let's talk about trigonolane. Magnets in the shell. Let's do magnets in the shell. Maybe I need to put an end to this show because it's like path dependence. We just went off the road here. Now we're about to have a car accident. I think I did actually. I think I'm out of chocolate covered magnets. So if you want 2 pounds of magnets in the shell, remember you're gonna have the villains. These you have to use a hammer to break them. This will give you a little bit less than a pound of magnets. In the summers, magnets are kind of like can be like turmeric. So if it comes with any mold on it, that can happen. I'll give you a refund. Just let me know. So I do have to, Sand got a bunch of turmeric that came moldy, which is pretty disgusting. So just want you to be aware of that. I'm 1% Latvian. Does that make it any better? I can't, but you can get nutcrackers off of Amazon. And these are 2 pounds of magnets in the shell. You got to crack them with a hammer. You got to use one of these. Exity got flagged for saying that too. Mold on the outside is okay. You just got to wash it. Dark roast, depending on which grade you want. They're all coming off the same trees, right? So they all have the same flavor profile. The extra fancy is our best bean, but it's going to be twice as much as your Hawaiian coffee. This is an extra fancy bean. You can't really tell the scale of this. Can't really tell the scale of this until you put it next to I am stupid, you're right. Yeah, I can't help it. I just go off the last thing you said. I'm like an AI. This is like an AI chat bot. So you guys put in something and I'm just gonna go with it. So you can see this is the extra fancy bean. I'll run one more of these. This is the extra fancy bean. This is a bean that you buy in the store, and it's just ridiculously big. So if you want the best coffee that you can get for the dark roast, I get the extra fancy, but it is pricey. We're running this for 25 bucks for 6 ounces, which is actually still a deal for extra fancy. And then the Hawaiian, you can get it for 25 bucks for 12 ounces. It's almost good as the extra fancy. Um, a little bit less smooth, but just as sweet. Our coffee tastes like a toasted caramel with the dark chocolate. The dark coffee tastes like a toasted caramel dark chocolate. I will run this extra fancy. Here's a bag, 6 ounce bag of the extra fancy dark. I do have 2 ounce samplers. We sell in various health food stores in Hawaii. We have a few roasteries small roasteries on the mainland that will buy our coffee green. But I mean, they're just super small, so you have to go to the shop's website. You can buy it off our website, but you're gonna get it faster if you buy it off here. Rooster Farms is our website. You're gonna get the coffee faster if you buy it off Whatnot, because on the website, there's a little less. I only I don't. I'm sorry. On Whatnot, I only sell the stuff that I just roasted. Whereas on the website, it's like everything we have, and sometimes we don't have it in stock because we try to keep our coffee roasted within a week. And Let me find these 2-ounce samplers for you. And you can try all the different 2 ounces. Like we have the pea berry, which is going to be kind of smoother, but a little bit less sweet than the extra fancy. We have the Hawaiian, which is sweeter, but less smooth than both extra fancy and pea berry. So there are differences. But the two highest grades of coffee have is extra fancy and the pea berry. It all goes, no, no. I keep it hidden. I put it into gold now. Keep it in gold coins, and I bury it because if it's in the bank account, it's gonna be disappears. $2. Jeez, Patrick. Let's try this one more time, guys. Extra fancy, dark here. Biggest beans that we have. This one's the best one for espresso. Just really smooth and sweet, buttery caramel. All right, we don't have any bitters right now. You guys are these are free samples. I'm just paying for shipping. All right, guys. I do think I'm gonna wrap it up. So if you guys have any last requests, let me know because I'm running out of steam, and no one wants to buy coffee from someone who ran out of steam. They're like, "What kind of coffee is this?" It's all right. I'll be here. Come back tomorrow. I can't. I don't want to drink more. If I drink more coffee, well, I have a little bit left here. If I drink more coffee, I get jitter. I get not even jittery. I just I don't know. I'm out. I'm out of. There's no more. Oh, for you, Aaron Brown. Yeah, I did. Did it update? Did it say that it got scanned? Because if it didn't, I have a new label for you that I'm gonna didn't update. Okay, yeah. So Monday morning, I'm gonna send you out 8 ounce. I saved 8 ounces of the yellow Couture for you. So of the medium Kona yellow Couture, I have that. So if it didn't update, then I could have swore we sent it out, but sometimes stuff happens, and I have a new label printed out for you, ready to go on Monday. Do you guys, if you guys, yeah, bookmark my next show. I think I'm winding down. I can tell if I keep on running coffees, I'm gonna be selling you guys 3 pounds for $1. And as much as I love doing that, it's not sustainable. Yeah, sometimes some of you guys have gotten two coffees before, and sometimes, and if you get two of the same, sometimes you guys will get two of them. All right, guys, I'm going down. It's 7:47. I'm going down. Can't. Scottish people. They're with the French too. The Scottish people are with the French, right? Nap time. Yep. So, Adamus, you're an example of that. The Scottish are with the French. They've been with the French the whole time. Not a surprise. Some of them even look French. All right, I'm gonna send you guys off on a raid. Well, I still can. Let's send you Trader BEA. I haven't sent you guys. He's a nice big raid.